Chapter 54. After Qin Haodong appeared, although he brought an array of sunshine, the cold murderous intent instantly filled the whole room, and Dongfang Liang couldn't help shivering. "You? Why are you here? It's impossible, it's impossible." He thought that Qin Haodong should be running around on the road like an ant on a hot pot. He never dreamed that he would find here so soon. "Don't you like to play games? I'm here to play with you," Qin Haodong said with a smile, but the cold murderous intent in his smile made his heart cold. "He's here, he's really here." Seeing the figure she expected to appear at the door, 2 lines of tears flowed down Lin Momo's cheeks, but she was not dizzy by happiness. She hurriedly cried, "Be careful, they have guns, Papa is coming to save me." The little fellow also cried excitedly. At the same time, Dongfang Liang, who had come back to his senses, reached for the pistol on the table. But Qin Haodong was 1 step ahead of him. He kicked the table, the sawdust flew, and the pistol was nowhere to be seen. "How about it? Soldier King, is it fun?" Qin Haodong looked at Dongfang Liang coldly. Without the gun, Dongfang Liang did not panic too much. On the contrary, he was calmer than before. "Boy, you are indeed stronger than I thought, but don't think that you can beat me like this. Do you think that my reputation as the Soldier King is undeserved?" After he finished speaking, the bones all over his body made a popping sound, and then his momentum suddenly soared, and finally reached the 6th level of overt power, only a little worse than those of the divine mercenaries. Qin Haodong's expression changed slightly and he sneered, "I didn't expect that you still had a hidden card. Well, you didn't expect it, did you? I've been hiding my strength, and the purpose is to numb you stupid guys and then kill Lin Momo to complete my task. This is my plan. In the words of your Wuxia people, it's called pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Otherwise, do you think that as a Soldier King I can't even beat you, a little doctor?" The more Dongfang Liang said, the prouder he became, as if he had completely controlled the situation. "If you know what's good for you, hurry up and take back my 15 million yuan, and pay an additional 10 million yuan to buy your life. I can spare your life." Qin Haodong looked at Dongfang Liang and suddenly laughed. Dongfang Liang's hair stood on end. He cried angrily, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny?" Qin Haodong said, "I'm laughing at you. You're a pig. Why are you pretending to be a pig? You can't eat the tiger. You better eat shit. You're courting death." Dongfang Liang roared and rushed towards Qin Haodong. Ever since he came to Wuxia, he had used a special method to hide his strength as a martial artist. In his opinion, as long as he showed his martial arts cultivation of the 6th level of overt power, it would be easy for him to defeat Qin Haodong. But he didn't expect that Qin Haodong was just playing with him. He didn't even use 1/10 of his strength. Therefore, even if he had reached the 6th level of overt power, he was still nothing in front of Qin Haodong. Dongfang Liang had just punched out. Before he could touch Qin Haodong's clothes, he felt a pain on his face and was slapped away by a big mouth. This is impossible." Dongfang Liang got up from the ground and was completely confused. He had shown all his strength. Shouldn't he beat Qin Haodong's teeth all over the ground? Why was he beaten like a son and couldn't even take one move? Qin Haodong said with a smile, "What do you think? You're a pig. You dare to come to Wuxia with such little ability. You're like a mouse playing with a cat and making money at the expense of your life. Don't be complacent. No matter how powerful you are, can you be more powerful than a gun?" Dongfang Liang put his hand in his mouth and made a loud whistling sound. This was the secret signal agreed by his mercenaries. In his opinion, Qin Haodong must have sneaked up. As long as his men rushed in with guns, the young man would be the meat on his chopping board and he could chop him as he wanted. Qin Haodong didn't do anything. He just looked at Dongfang Liang. Dongfang Liang blew several times in a row, and his cheeks were sore, but there was still no movement outside. "Don't bother. It's useless even if you brag until tomorrow morning. Your subordinates have already reported to the King of Hell. They're just waiting for you." What? Did you kill them all?" Dongfang Liang couldn't believe it was true. "I'll fight with you." He shouted and rushed to Qin Haodong, but suddenly changed direction halfway and rushed to the door. Dongfang Liang was not stupid. He knew that today's situation was hopeless. If he continued to fight, he would only die, so he chose to run away directly. But Qin Haodong would not let him go. He flicked his fingers and 2 silver needles shot into his legs like lightning. Dongfang Liang's legs immediately lost the ability to move, and he fell on his face with a flop. Qin Haodong strode over and kicked him directly into the air. He hit the ceiling hard and then fell to the ground, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Seeing that Dongfang Liang was half dead and couldn't run anymore, Qin Haodong went over and tore the ropes on Lin Momo and the little fellow. Pete Haodong. Lin Momo threw herself into Qin Haodong's arms. She just wanted to lie in a man's arms like this so that she would feel safer. P mama, I wanna hug Papa too. P the little fellow's cry pulled Lin Momo back from her thoughts, and she quickly pushed Qin Haodong away with blushing cheeks. P Papa, hug me. The little fellow shouted and stretched out her two chubby little hands. Qin Haodong picked her up at once. P Papa, it's great. I knew you would come to save me and Mama. The little fellow said and kissed him on the face. P Papa, that big bad guy bullied me and Mama. You have to avenge us. P Qin Haodong was relieved when he rescued Lin Momo and Tang Tang. He handed the little fellow to Lin Momo and said, take Tang Tang to the door and wait for me, Pa Emperor Greenwood. He had been fooled by Dongfang Liang for such a long time, so he couldn't let it go easily. However, he didn't want the little fellow to see too bloody a scene, so he asked Lin Momo to take her out first. Lin Momo also knew what he was going to do and said, well, Tang Tang and I will wait for you outside. After the mother and daughter went out, Qin Haodong stepped in front of Dongfang Liang, squatted down and looked at him, saying, how is it? Do you feel good? What are you going to do? Pat this time, Dongfang Liang's eyes were full of panic and helplessness. He tried to stay away from Qin Haodong, but his legs had lost the ability to move. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't move at all. Don't you know what I'm going to do? Qin Haodong said coldly, I've told you that if you dare to touch a hair of theirs, I'll make your life worse than death. But I really didn't touch their hair. Dongfang Liang said in a trembling voice. Well, good, very smart. Qin Haodong said and smiled at him. Dongfang Liang also wanted to smile, but his smile was uglier than crying. Since you are so smart and like to play games, let's continue to play games. As Qin Haodong said, he grabbed Dongfang Liang's left hand and said with a smile, guess which finger I will crush? Dongfang Liang's face changed greatly, and he immediately begged, no, please let me go, I won't dare to do it again, you really don't cooperate. It seems that I can only play by myself. Qin Haodong grabbed Dongfang Liang's index finger and squeezed it hard. There was a sharp sound of bone cracking, and then Dongfang Liang let out a heart-wrenching scream. The 10 fingers were connected to the heart. This kind of pain was not something that ordinary people could bear. He fainted directly. But in the hands of Emperor Greenwood, it was an extravagant hope for him to die. Dragons have reverse scales, touch them and you will die. Dongfang Liang, who was reckless, touched 2 of Qin Haodong's reverse scales together, so he must bear the anger of Emperor Greenwood. With a flick of his finger, Dongfang Liang immediately woke up. He looked at Qin Haodong as if he was looking at a devil and cried out in horror, please kill me. Kill you? It's not that easy. Don't you like to play games? We have just started and we haven't had enough yet. Then Qin Haodong crushed Dongfang Liang's thumb again. He used Greenwood Genuine Qi to protect Dongfang Liang's Heart Meridian and Mudpill Palace, so it was impossible for him to faint. In order to prevent scaring the little fellow outside the door, he also hit Dongfang Liang's mute acupoint. After many means were used, Dongfang Liang twitched all over and looked ferocious, but he couldn't make a sound. Now he finally knew what it meant to be worse than death. Soon, Qin Haodong crushed all his fingers, and the anger in his chest finally dissipated a little. He raised his hand to unlock Dongfang Liang's mute acupoint, and asked with a smile, how is it? Is it fun? Devil, you are the devil, kill me quickly. Dongfang Liang was exhausted at this time and said weakly, you are so boring. Didn't you have a good time with me just now? Qin Haodong said, since you don't want to play games, then answer my question. Who hired you to kill Momo? If he didn't find out who was behind the scenes, he always felt like being stabbed in the throat and couldn't sleep well. I don't know. Oh, you are so stubborn. It seems that you still haven't had a good time. No, it's really not. Dongfang Liang said quickly, that person hired me on the deep web. Later he only contacted me by phone. We never met, let alone know who he is. This person is very cautious. He calls with voice-changing software. I don't even know whether he is a man or a woman. Qin Haodong saw that Dongfang Liang did not lie, so he stopped asking and said, in this case, let's continue playing games. He raised his right hand and said, guess how many teeth I can knock out with this slap. No, please don't play anymore. I'm begging you. Either you kill me or you call the police. Dongfang Liang was completely frightened. Qin Haodong didn't stop. He slapped Dongfang Liang in the face, causing blood to splash and teeth to fly. Idiot, this slap of mine is obviously going to break all your teeth. Qin Haodong seemed not satisfied with Dongfang Liang's performance and said, my teeth are gone. What do you think we should play next? B. Chapter 55. Demon, kill me, quickly kill me. Dongfang Liang's face was full of horror. Yellow liquid flowed out of his lower body, and the room was suddenly filled with a foul smell. I'm so screwed. I pissed my pants just like that. Qin Haodong, suddenly losing interest in continuing to play, he poked Dongfang Liang's heart with one finger and ended his life. Just as he was about to leave, a melodious music sounded. Turning his head, he saw Dongfang Liang's mobile phone ringing in a corner. He picked up the phone and glanced at it. The screen showed employer number 108. This immediately made his heart skip a beat. The call might be from the mastermind behind the scenes. Qin Haodong thought that he might be able to find that person through this phone call, so he pressed the answer button without hesitation. After the phone was connected, he heard the other side said eagerly, Dongfang Liang, kill that woman quickly. The Lin family has called the police. Now the whole Jiangnan city is looking for you. Don't play with fire. Sure enough, this call was from the mastermind behind the scenes. Qin Haodong wanted to get more information, but he was afraid that if he said too much, there would be loopholes and arouse the other party's suspicion. Alright, I'll kill her now. Qin Haodong's voice was exactly the same as Dongfang Liang's. As an immortal emperor in the cultivation world, he still had some tricks to change his voice. After killing him, do as we agreed and I will transfer the rest of the money to your account. Trace of regret rose in Qin Haodong's heart. Dongfang Liang killed him too early. If he had known this, he would have asked him about the follow-up plan. Don't worry, I'll get it done. After Qin Haodong finished speaking, the other party immediately hung up the phone. He felt that something was wrong, but he could not put his finger on it. On a yacht on the Qinglong River in Jiangnan City, a young man in his 20s stood on the deck, holding the latest fruit mobile phone in his hand. His face was gloomy and scary. After making the call, he threw the phone into the Azure Dragon River without hesitation. Son, why did you throw the phone away? A middle-aged woman walked out of the cabin. Things have been exposed. That idiot Dongfang Liang is dead. The young man said with a gloomy look. How is that possible? He's the king of mercenaries in Southeast Asia. Didn't I hear you talking to him just now? The middle-aged woman asked. Although his imitation is very realistic, I can tell that it is not Dongfang Liang at all. The young man said, Dongfang Liang is the most greedy person. I just said that as long as he kills Lin Momo immediately, I will give him another 5 million. If it was Dongfang Liang, he would have asked me for 10 million or even 20 million yuan, but this person agreed without hesitation. What does that mean? The middle-aged woman's brain was obviously not as good as the young man's. It means that Dongfang Liang has been caught or killed. The other party wants to get my information through the phone so that he can find me. Son, what should we do? If the Lin family finds out that you hired someone to assassinate Lin Momo, we'll be finished, the middle-aged woman asked anxiously. The young man smiled coldly and said, Don't be afraid. I bought this SIM card from abroad. There's no information at all. Moreover, I've already thrown it into the river. Even the GPS won't be able to find me. What about Dongfang Liang? Will he betray you? If he can, he will definitely sell me, but I've already taken precautions. He has no useful information in his hands. Even if he kills Dongfang Liang, he can't get anything out of him. That's good. The middle-aged woman patted her chest and said, What should we do next? Should we hire a better assassin? No, we've failed 3 times in a row. Not only is Lin Momo unscathed, but we've also wasted a lot of money, which shows that this way won't work. It seems that if we want to get Lin's group, we must find another way. What else can we do? The woman next to him asked. Since this way won't work, I'll go another way. I've already figured out the way. Even if Lin Momo doesn't die, Lin's group will be mine sooner or later. The young man said gloomily. Hearing the busy tone on the phone, Qin Haodong hung up unwillingly. It seemed that if he wanted to find out the identity of the other party, he could only rely on the technical means of the police. Just then, sirens sounded outside and 4 or 5 police cars drove to the downstairs of the building. After a while, Nailin Wuxia hurried upstairs. She glanced at Dongfang Liang's dead body and said to Qin Haodong, What's going on? Qin Haodong told her what had happened, including why he had grabbed a Honda in an emergency, in order to save Lin Momo and the little fellow. Finally he said, There were 9 of them. There were 2 more on the roof of the opposite building and I killed them all. It was better to leave the aftermath of killing 9 people at once to the police. Nailin Wuxia was slightly surprised. Although she knew that Qin Haodong had the ability, he killed 9 experienced mercenaries in such a short time, and the hostages were unscathed. This kind of ability was really unique. If it were her, she would not be able to do it. Ping, by the way, how did you come so fast? Qin Haodong asked doubtfully. After all, he had found this place with the help of the blood-drawing skill, but Nalan Wuxia had followed him so quickly. The car you robbed has a GPS location. Otherwise, how do you think Zhang Daji found you? P.O. Qin Haodong nodded and asked, by the way, do you have the contact information of the bald man? I'll send the car back to him and give him some compensation. After all, I urgently requisitioned his car, so I have to express my gratitude. Nalan Wuxia rolled her eyes at him and said, thank me if you want to thank someone. I've already bought that car. Bought it? Why did you buy such a broken car? Qin Haodong asked with his eyes wide open. What do you think? It's all your fault. Otherwise, do you think I have too much money to spend? Nalan Wuxia said angrily, you robbed his car. I'm a policeman. I didn't catch you but let you go. What else could I do except to buy his car? Pina. Qin Haodong was embarrassed. In Nalan Wuxia's position at that time, there was really no better way. At the same time, his heart was also warm. He thanked this policewoman from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for her help, things would have been really difficult to deal with. How much will it cost? I'll give it back to you right away. Forget it. There's no need to pay it back. After all, you saved me last time. Consider it my repayment to you. Nalan Wuxia said indifferently. Indeed, 300,000 yuan was not a big deal to her. Alright then, I'll owe you a favor. Qin Haodong knew that the Nalan family was not short of money, so he didn't stand on ceremony. He added, by the way, I need you to do me a favor. What's the matter? Say it. Qin Haodong took Dongfang Liang's mobile phone, pointed to the phone number on it and said, I just pretended to be Dongfang Liang and talked to the person behind the scenes, but unfortunately I didn't get any effective information. Can you check the source of this number through the technical means of the Public Security Bureau and find out who the person behind the scenes is? This is my duty. Leave it to me. I'll give you the result later. Nalan Wuxia put the mobile phone into her pocket after she finished speaking. The rest was the police's business, which had nothing to do with Qin Haodong. He went out of the door and left with Lin Momo and the little fellow. Pinned to Lin's villa, Lin Ziyuan was like an ant on a hot pot, constantly walking back and forth on the ground. The sudden disappearance of his daughter and granddaughter made him very anxious. Although he had reported the case, he still didn't feel at ease. Grandpa, I'm back. The little fellow shouted and rushed to Lin Ziyuan. Tang Tang, you scared Grandpa? Lin Ziyuan picked up the little fellow and held her tightly in his arms. The little fellow said, Grandpa, that guy is so bad. It was Daddy who saved me and Mama. Lin Ziyuan looked at Lin Momo, who had just entered the door, and asked, what the hell is going on? Tang Tang and I were kidnapped. Dongfang Liang was a killer sent by the other party, Lin Momo said, and told him how she and the little fellow were kidnapped by Dongfang Liang from beginning to end. Finally, hearing that Qin Haodong risked his life to save his daughter, Lin Ziyuan said gratefully, Dr. Qin, you are really a great benefactor of our Lin family. Mr. Lin, it's nothing at all. Qin Haodong waved his hand indifferently and said, in fact, it's my fault. I was too careless, otherwise I wouldn't have given Dongfang Liang the chance to take action. Alas. In the final analysis, it's my fault. I'm so old that I let a wolf into the house. I thought it was a bodyguard hired at a high price, but I didn't expect it to be a killer sent by someone else. Lin Ziyuan's face was full of self-blame, and he was very angry when he mentioned Dongfang Liang. Thinking of the person behind the scenes, he scolded, I don't know who tried to kill Momo again and again. If I find him, I will cut him into pieces. Qin Haodong said, don't worry, Mr. Lin. I will find him sooner or later. Lin Ziyuan sighed and said, but if we can't find that person, Momo will be in danger. Now it's too difficult to find a reliable and capable bodyguard. Qin Haodong understood Lin Ziyuan very well. Although all the rich people had a group of bodyguards around them, these people could scare ordinary people at ordinary times. If they were really asked to face a killer, few of them could do it. Mr. Lin, don't worry about the bodyguard. Leave it to me. I will find some capable and reliable bodyguards for Momo by tomorrow at the latest. Lin Momo asked, Haodong, is what you said true? With the financial resources and connections of Lin's group in Jiangnan, they couldn't find suitable bodyguards. Qin Haodong was just a senior student. It was hard to imagine where he could find bodyguards. I wanted to give you a surprise, but now it seems that I can't. Qin Haodong told her from beginning to end about the subduing of the divine mercenaries and the establishment of a security company. Finally he said, I will prepare some healing elixirs tomorrow. Soon Saber and others of the divine mercenaries will be on duty, and it won't take too long for others. After Qin Haodong finished, Lin Momo immediately understood that he was doing this for the security company she had set up. She was very moved and said emotionally, Haodong, thank you. Qin Haodong smiled and said, don't be so polite to me. I said that as long as I am here, I can't let others hurt you and the little fellow. As a man, I have to fulfill my promise. Chapter 56. Looking at the two people who were looking at each other affectionately, Lin Ziyuan smiled and left the room with the little fellow in his arms. Even Da Mao and Mao, who had been standing by, left with him. Qin Haodong laughed in his heart. His father-in-law was really sensible. He knew when to create opportunities for himself. When he was about to reach out and pull Lin Momo into his arms, the phone in his pocket rang at the wrong time. He took it out and saw that it was Nalan Wuxia's phone. He knew that it must have something to do with that phone number, so he quickly pressed the answer button. How is it? Is there any result? Qin Haodong asked eagerly. The technical department has just checked it. The registered information of that phone is abroad, and there is no real name registration. We can't find out who the owner is at all. What about the signal location? Do you know where this person is now? Nalan Wuxia said, that phone is now turned off and there is no signal at all. We sent someone to the last place where the signal disappeared. It is in the Azure Dragon River. You know the Azure Dragon River. There are nearly 1,000 cruise ships and cargo ships passing by every day, and there are countless passengers on the ships, so it is impossible to determine the range. I'm guessing that when you were talking to that person he must have sensed something, so he threw the phone into the river. Damn it, it's too cunning. Qin Haodong said angrily. Nalan Wuxia said, the other party had made full preparations before he took action, and gave us very few clues. This kind of thing can't be rushed, so we can only take it slowly. Qin Haodong had no choice but to hang up after chatting for a while. Although the relationship between him and Lin Momo had been very warm these days, he was still driven out at night. He couldn't help but sigh secretly. It seemed that the dream of sleeping together was still a certain distance away. The next day, Qin Haodong and Lin Momo sent the little fellow to kindergarten together. The little fellow had completely come out of the shadow of yesterday and was singing Ouyang Shanshan's songs happily. After singing she said, Papa, Wang Xiaoming has an autographed photo of Ouyang Shanshan. When can I have one? Lin Momo said, Tang Tang, you are still young. You can't chase stars so early. But I like Ouyang Shanshan. I want her autograph. The little fellow had a pitiful look on his face, which made people want to dote on him. Moreover, in his opinion, his father was omnipotent and would definitely be able to satisfy her request. Qin Haodong couldn't bear to refuse his daughter, so he said, Tang Tang, be a good girl. I'll get you one in a few days. Papa is the best to me. The little fellow kissed Qin Haodong on the face and jumped into the kindergarten after parking the car. Lin Momo said to Qin Haodong, you spoil him too much. Where can we get photos? That's all Tang Tang's request. As her father, of course, I have to satisfy it. If you really can't do it, you can go to Taobao. Everything is for sale there. Qin Haodong didn't leave with Lin Momo. Instead, he drove to the wholesale market. An hour later, he walked out of the market with a large woven bag filled with medicinal herbs. He gave the 5 million yuan given by Long Haixing and the 15 million yuan he won from Dongfang Liang to Saber to set up a security company, so he only had the 200,000 yuan paid by zipping. More than half of the 200,000 yuan had been spent. But there was no other way. He had high requirements for medicinal herbs. All the wild medicinal herbs he bought were old, so the price was naturally expensive. He already had the snow ginseng and the Korean ginseng. Otherwise, even if he spent all the 200,000 yuan, it would not be enough. After returning home, he began to refine the spirit culturing pill. Compared with others, it was much simpler for him to refine the pill. He directly extracted the essence of the medicinal herbs, which was efficient and had no waste. An hour later, 2 bottles of 50 spirit culturing pills were refined. Later, he refined some bone regeneration ointment and corpse dissolving powder. The bone regeneration ointment was a kind of healing medicine, so it was essential to keep some around, while the corpse dissolving powder was used to deal with Dongfang Liang's situation. He couldn't always let the police deal with the aftermath in the future, and some things were inconvenient for others to know. After refining the pills, he drove directly to the residence of the divine mercenaries. P. After entering the house, he gathered Saber and the others together, took out the spirit culturing pill and gave it to each of them. He said, "Take this pill, and your injuries will be healed immediately, and your cultivation will have a breakthrough." Pete, "Thank you, boss." P. Saber and the others were overjoyed. They immediately sat cross-legged and took the spirit culturing pill. Qin Haodong stayed with the 6 of them. On the one hand he protected them and on the other hand he helped them break through. Among these people, Saber's cultivation was the most profound. With the help of the spirit culturing pill, he soon reached the peak of the 7th level of overt power and was moving towards the 8th level of overt power. However, the bottleneck of each level was extremely difficult to break through. Otherwise there would not be so few warriors in Jianghu. Saber tried several times in a row, but he still could not cross the last barrier. Qin Haodong came behind him, raised his hand and pressed the Baihui point on the top of his head, and shouted, "Break!" Saber suddenly felt a pure genuine qi injected into his body, and rushed to the bottleneck with his genuine qi. Then there was a click in his ear and his momentum suddenly rose. The 8th level of overt power, I finally broke through. There was a burst of ecstasy on his face. Qin Haodong said lightly, "Don't be happy too early. Calm down and consolidate your cultivation." Saber quickly calmed his mind and used the power of the small strengthening pill to consolidate the cultivation that he had just broken through. Later, Qin Haodong helped Battle Axe and Whip to complete their breakthroughs. In less than an hour, there were 6 more masters in the world at the 8th level of overt power. After another half an hour, Saber and the others all finished their cultivation and stood up with a happy face. "Boss, thank you so much. From now on, the 6 of us will be at your disposal." They were now grateful and respectful to Qin Haodong. Before they were injured, they had been stuck in the 7th level of overt power for a period of time and couldn't find a way to break through. They didn't expect to meet Qin Haodong after they were injured, who not only cured all their injuries, but also improved their cultivation a lot. Qin Haodong said, "Now I have an important task for you. Go to Lin's group immediately and take charge of the security work there. To tell you the truth, Lin Momo, the president of Lin's group, is my woman. You must ensure her safety." Saber said, "Don't worry, boss. As long as our divine mercenaries are there, no one can hurt Miss Lin." "Well, I'll take you there now. First, ensure Momo's safety, and then slowly start to straighten out the company's security. This is also the first business of our security company. We must do it well." Saber and the others nodded. This was the easiest task for the top 3 mercenary groups in the world. Moreover, they were now all warriors at the 8th level of overt power. After everything was arranged, Qin Haodong rushed to Lin's group with the 6 people. Lin's group. 10 green SUVs sped up. After a harsh braking sound, 30 uniformed security guards jumped out of the cars. In front of these security guards was a middle-aged man in a suit with a cigar in his mouth. His hair was slicked back and shiny, and his face was treacherous and unruly. After getting off the car, the man with slicked back hair strode to the gate of Lin's group. When the 2 security guards at the gate of the group saw these people, they couldn't help but feel numb. However, it was his duty. One of the security guards stepped forward and asked, "Sir, who are you looking for?" Before he finished speaking, a security chief behind the man with slicked back hair came over and slapped him in the face. "You don't want to live. You even dare to stop Boss Wei of the Thor Security Company. Get out of here." After he finished speaking, 2 people immediately came from behind and pushed the 2 security guards of Lin's group to the corner and controlled them. The man with slicked back hair sneered and directly broke into the hall of Lin's group. Originally, the security captain of Lin's group was Zhang Dabiao, but he was fired by Lin Momo after he went out to fight with Zhao Hongmao. Now the deputy captain, Zhao Liang, was in charge of the security work of the whole group. After seeing the aggressive man with slicked back hair, Zhao Liang couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. He knew this man. He was Wei Tianlei, the boss of Jiangnan Thor Security Company. It was no wonder that Zhao Liang was afraid. Wei Tianlei was famous in the security industry. It was not because of the scale of his company, but because his men were all illegal security guards. These people were all good at fighting and fighting. It was rumored that Wei Tianlei's standard for recruiting security guards was that they must have been in prison. Because of this, people who were familiar with Wei Tianlei's security company all changed their faces. Seeing that Wei Tianlei was coming towards him, Zhao Liang was so scared that his whole body trembled. However, he had nowhere to hide. In the end, he simply lowered his head and hid under the table. Wei Tianlei was unimpeded all the way. Whenever he met a security guard who came out to stop him, he would immediately beat him up. Soon he arrived at the door of the president's office. Pilin Momo was dealing with official business in the office. Suddenly the door was pushed open. She frowned and raised her head to see Wei Tianlei walking in, followed by two tall security guards. Miss Lin, I'm busy." Wei Tianlei had a sinister smile on his face. After entering the room, he directly sat on the sofa. "Who are you?" Pilin Momo asked with a sullen face. "Miss Lin, you are so arrogant. You don't even know me, Wei Tianlei. I asked someone to bring me a few times. I wanted to drink tea and eat with Miss Lin, but Miss Lin didn't give me face. I had to come by myself." It turned out that Wei Tianlei had asked Lin Momo several times to take over the security work of Lin's group. However, Lin Momo knew that Wei Tianlei was running an illegal security company. If she handed over the security of the company to them, it would be suicide. Therefore, she refused without thinking and didn't see him at all. Hearing that this person was Wei Tianlei, Lin Momo said with a sullen face, "Mr. Wei, what can I do for you?" "I've long heard that the president of Lin's group is a great beauty. I came here specially to have a look." Wei Tianlei took a puff of his cigar and spat out a big cloud of smoke. He said with a smile, "In addition, I think there are many businesses between our two companies that can be cooperated, so I came here specially to talk about business with Miss Lin." Pilin Momo said in a cold voice, "On the contrary, I don't think there is any cooperation between us." "Pete, how is that possible? Our company specializes in solving problems for people. How can there be no trouble when we are all working outside? If there is trouble, there will naturally be opportunities for cooperation." Pilin Momo said, "I'm sorry. Lin's group is a serious business. We don't want to have anything to do with your company." "Pete, what do you mean, Miss Lin? Are you saying that I'm not serious?" Wei Tianlei laughed obscenely and kept rolling his eyes on Lin Momo's body. A look of disgust appeared on Lin Momo's face. She said, "Mr. Wei, if there is nothing else, please leave. I have something to do." Wei Tianlei seemed to have heard nothing. He continued to say, "Miss Lin, you still don't know much about our company. In fact, the service we provide is very thoughtful. We provide security and loans. As long as you ask for it, we can satisfy it. The price is also cheap and fair." "We don't need it," Lin Momo said with annoyance. Chapter 57. "Miss Lin, it's not good for you to be so distant." Wei Tianlei stood up and walked around Lin Momo's desk. He said with a playful face, "Miss Lin, the security of your company is so bad. The fact that I can stand here and talk to you directly shows that there is a problem. Look at your men. They are so scared that they crawl under the table. They are not as vigorous as my brothers. And I heard that Miss Lin has been in a bad situation recently. You have been assassinated several times. If you have my brothers to protect you, these things would not have happened." Pilin Momo knew that Wei Tianlei was right. There was indeed a big problem with the security of her company. However, she had been assassinated one after another recently and had not had time to rectify it. She also knew that she could not let Wei Tianlei's company take over Lin's group in any case. Otherwise, it would be easier to invite the devil than to send him away. "Mr. Wei, I don't want to say the same thing twice. Our group's affairs can be solved by ourselves. We don't need your company's service." Wei Tianlei frowned after being refused one after another. Then he said with a smile, "Miss Lin, how can you know it's not good if you haven't tried it? Our company is very good. For example, 24-hour personal service. I'm sure you will be satisfied." He waved to the two security guards behind him and said, "You two stay at the door. I'll let Miss Lin experience for herself whether our service is good or not." The two security guards smiled obscenely. They looked at Lin Momo's curvy body greedily and then turned to the door. Pilin Momo was shocked. She did not expect that Wei Tianlei would be so bold. She shouted, "What are you doing? I'll call the police if you don't go out." Then she reached for the phone on the desk. However, as soon as she took the phone, Wei Tianlei cut off the phone. "Miss Lin, it's so disappointing to call the police at this time. Don't worry, I'll let you feel what it means to be in heaven." After saying that, he was about to pounce on Lin Momo with a lascivious smile. At this moment, with a muffled bang, the two security guards who had just walked to the door flew back and fell on the ground in confusion. The door of the office opened. Qin Haodong walked in from the outside, followed by 6 people of the Divine Mercenaries. Pilin Momo immediately threw herself into his arms. She held his strong arms tightly and said, "Haodong, you're here?" Wei Tianlei was enraged when he saw that his happy occasion had been disrupted. He said furiously, "Who are you? What do you do?" Qin Haodong glanced at him. "I'm your father." I'm here to discipline you. Peen brat, you're courting death. Wei Tianlei shouted to the two security guards who had just gotten up, chop him to death. Although the two men had just suffered a loss, they were indeed ruthless characters. They took out two daggers from the back of their waists and pounced on Qin Haodong with fierce expressions. Pete Haodong, be careful. Lin Momo shouted. Qin Haodong smiled and remained unmoved. Seeing that the two black security guards had rushed in front of him, two tall figures flashed out from behind him. They were tomahawk and sword. Pete kacha kacha. After two crisp sounds, the two security guards didn't even see how the other party attacked. Their arms holding the knife were already broken, and then their bodies were fiercely sent flying, falling heavily next to Wei Tianlei. Peen this. Wei Tianlei was shocked. The two men under him were both fighting masters. He didn't expect that they would be defeated in one move and so miserably. Qin Haodong ignored him. He took Lin Momo's hand and said, Momo, let me introduce you. This is the divine mercenaries I told you about. They'll be responsible for your safety in the future. Pete, hello, Miss Lin. Divine Saber and the others said in unison, Miss Lin, if you need anything in the future, just tell us. Lin Momo looked at Wei Tianlei with hatred. She pointed at him and said, throw this bastard out for me. Little girl, don't think you can be arrogant because a man is here. Wait, my brothers are all outside. Wei Tianlei took out a walkie-talkie and shouted, get your weapons and come in to chop people for me. Qin Haodong didn't stop him. He just looked at him with a smile. The security guards of Raytheon reacted really fast. In less than a minute, the 30 security guards brought by Wei Tianlei all rushed into the president's office, each with a short knife and a steel pipe in their hands. Fortunately, Lin Momo's office was spacious enough. Even if they came in, it wouldn't be too crowded. Seeing that his brothers had arrived, Wei Tianlei immediately became confident. He pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted, boy, aren't you arrogant? No matter how powerful you are, you can't beat so many of my brothers. Hurry up and kneel down to apologize and let that woman sign a cooperation agreement with our company. Then I'll spare your life today. Looking at these fierce people, Lin Momo said with some worry, Haodong, shall we call the police? No need. They're just some small fries. Qin Haodong glanced at Saber and said, let Boss Lin see your strength. Don't worry, boss. These small fries will be taken care of in a minute. After Saber finished speaking, the 6 people of the divine mercenaries shouted and rushed to Wei Tianlei's security guards. They really wanted to prove themselves in front of Lin Momo, so they were merciless. Before these security guards could react, they had been put to the ground. Wei Tianlei was completely dumbfounded. He stared with his eyes wide open and his mouth wide open. He never thought that his experienced brothers would be so vulnerable in front of these people. Were they still human? It wasn't until Saber grabbed his collar and slammed him in front of Qin Haodong that he came to his senses. Boss, what should we do with this guy? Saber asked. Break his 5 limbs and throw him out. Qin Haodong said coldly. No, please don't. We can talk about it. Wei Tianlei was completely frightened. He didn't expect that the young man in front of him, who had been smiling all the time, would be so cruel. He hurriedly said, little brother, it's my fault today. But one more friend means one more way. There's no need to do things so ruthlessly. Qin Haodong squatted down, patted him on the cheek and said with a smile, you came here to do whatever you want. You hurt the staff of our group and scared my woman. It's very kind of you to break your 5 limbs. Although the young man had been smiling, the murderous look in his eyes made Wei Tianlei feel extremely scared. He had no doubt that Qin Haodong would really break his 2 arms and 3 legs. He hurriedly said, little brother, I was wrong today. I'm willing to pay for all the losses of Lin's group. Qin Haodong said, you're willing to pay for it? That's negotiable. You hurt the staff of our group, and the medical expenses are 1 million yuan. I'll pay for it. Wei Tianlei gritted his teeth and said. This time he didn't get any benefits and he lost 1 million yuan. Don't worry, I haven't finished with you yet. Qin Haodong added, I said I would break your limbs. I'm a man of my word. I can't go back on my word. Speaking of this, Wei Tianlei was anxious and hurriedly said, little brother, didn't we agree? I'm willing to pay for it. Don't worry, I've already thought of a good way for you. You pay for your arms and legs. In this way I won't go back on my word and you can save your limbs. Everyone will be happy. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea? Good idea. At this time Wei Tianlei's heart collapsed. It was the first time that he heard that he had to pay for his own parts. I know you're a smart person and will definitely agree. Qin Haodong said with a smile, I'm not an unreasonable person. Since you're so understanding, I'll give you a discount. 1 million yuan for each part, you can pay 9 million yuan. Pia? Wei Tianlei suddenly opened his mouth and asked, Little brother, did you make a mistake? Shouldn't 1 million be 5 million? Pichin Haodong said with a playful face, It's my fault that I didn't make it clear to you. 1 million yuan for ordinary parts, 5 million yuan for important parts, and 9 million yuan in total. P. This is too expensive, isn't it? Wei Tianlei said with a bitter face. Pin, it doesn't matter. I'm a reasonable person. It's not a scam. I've put the price here. You can tell me which parts you don't want. P, especially the 5 million yuan part. If you don't think it's worth it, just throw it away. I promise to remove it painlessly for you. Pin, yes, I want them all. P. Wei Tianlei had 5 concubines outside. How could he be willing to give up his second master? Not to mention 5 million yuan, even if it was 10 million yuan he would buy it back. Pichin Haodong said, In this case, let's make a deal. We'll give the money and the goods at the same time. Wei Tianlei had no choice but to take out his checkbook and write a check for 10 million yuan to Qin Haodong. After Lin Momo confirmed that there was no mistake, Qin Haodong patted Wei Tianlei on the shoulder and said, The money and the goods are settled. Get out of here. Wei Tianlei felt as if he had been pardoned. He took his men and ran out of Lin's group. Not long after Zhao Liang crawled out from under the table, he saw Wei Tianlei and his men running out. He was extremely curious and didn't know what had happened. After these people left, Saber said to Qin Haodong, Boss, isn't it too easy for that bastard? Easy? Qin Haodong sneered and said, I've just broken his kidney qi. It's useless to take it back. He can only serve the emperor in the palace for the rest of his life. Lin Momo was slightly stunned and understood what he meant. She said in a low voice, You're so bad. Qin Haodong said, He dared to bully my woman. It's good enough that I didn't kill him. After the matter was settled, Lin Momo began to deal with the security of the group. She appointed Saber as the captain of the security team and Sword as the deputy captain. Zhao Liang and the other security guards were all fired. Anyone who dared to stop Wei Tianlei would stay and be given a generous bonus. While Lin Momo was busy, Qin Haodong's cell phone rang. It was Nalan Wuxia. He pressed the answer button and asked, Officer Nalan, is there any progress on that case? No, we have a new case that needs your help. Come here quickly. So urgent? Well, I'll be right there. Qin Haodong agreed immediately. After all, Nalan Wuxia had helped him several times in a row. Now that she was in trouble, he had to help her. Come quickly. I'll wait for you at the crime squad. Nalan Wuxia hung up the phone. With the help of the divine mercenaries, Qin Haodong no longer worried about Lin Momo's safety. After making some arrangements, he drove to the crime squad. Fang Chuanxiong, the leader of the special task force, is on his way to Jiangnan with 2 torture experts. However, if we rely on the police department to solve the case, our Jiangnan police will lose face. We want to quickly solve the case before the 2 experts arrive, so we need your help. Qin Haodong said indifferently, No problem. It will only take a few minutes to interrogate a henchman, but at this moment the door opened and a middle-aged police officer walked in. Behind him were 2 old men in their 50s. Although they looked refined, they could not hide the arrogance in their expressions. After a slight astonishment, Wang Jianfeng immediately greeted him, Leader Fang, you came so fast. Nalan Wuxia also stood up and whispered in Qin's ear, This is Fang Chuanxiong, the leader of the special task force. Those 2 people should be torture experts. I didn't expect them to come so fast. After a few simple polite words, Fang Chuanxiong sat down and said, Captain Wang, how is the case going? Wang Jianfeng said with some embarrassment, There is no progress. No drugs were found and the suspect is very tight-lipped. There is no breakthrough yet. Fang Chuanxiong frowned, looked at his watch and said, The case has passed for 19 hours. Why is there no result at all? How do you do your criminal investigation work? Wang Jianfeng's cheeks were red. However, Hong had nothing to say. As the saying went, a higher official could crush a lower official. Moreover, Fang Chuanxiong was not only 1 level higher than him, but also 1 level higher than the director of the Jiangnan Public Security Bureau. Besides, it was true that he failed to solve the case quickly, so he could only listen to what Fang Chuanxiong said. At this time, a tall and thin expert wearing glasses said, Leader Fang, you can't blame them. Jiangnan is a small place. The police have little experience in handling cases and their level is low. It's normal that they can't solve such a big case. It sounded like he was interceding for Wang Jianfeng, but in fact he was belittling the ability of the entire Jiangnan police to handle cases. Nalan Wuxia's face darkened and she said, "Sir, please respect our Jiangnan police." Another short and fat expert sneered and said, "If you want to be respected, you have to have the ability. If you have the ability, you don't need to invite us." Nalan Wuxia said angrily, "Without you, our Jiangnan police can solve the case and no one invited you." The short and fat expert was obviously used to being arrogant. In the past, wherever he went he was treated like the moon. Now a little policewoman didn't give him face. He suddenly became angry and said angrily, "Since you are so capable, why is there no result until now?" "That's because I just arrived. If I came earlier the case would have been solved." Qin Haodong didn't like these two self-righteous guys who took advantage of their seniority, so he stood up to speak for Nalan Wuxia. "Who are you?" The short and fat expert looked at Qin Haodong and asked. Wang Jianfeng saw these people quarreling more and more fiercely, so he quickly said, "This is Qin Haodong, Dr. Qin, invited by our criminal police unit to help us solve this case." As soon as he said this, the two experts laughed together and said, "I don't like to hear that your Jiangnan police are incompetent. You even asked a doctor to help you interrogate. I have lived for more than 50 years and I have never heard such a funny joke." Wang Jianfeng's face also changed and he said, "Dr. Qin is very good at psychology. He once helped us." Before he finished speaking, Fang Chuanxiong interrupted him impatiently and said, "Well, there is not much time left. Hurry up and get down to business." He stood up and said to Wang Jianfeng, "Where is the interrogation room? Let the two experts start working immediately." Obviously, he didn't take Qin Haodong seriously at all. He didn't think that a young man in his 20s would be of any help to the interrogation of the case. Wang Jianfeng was very clear about Qin Haodong's ability. He didn't give up and said, "Leader Fang, let Dr. Qin try first. If he doesn't work, let the two experts come out." The expert wearing glasses looked unhappy and said, "What do you mean? Can a little doctor's interrogation level be higher than ours?" The short and fat expert said proudly, "There is no need to waste time. No one in Wuxia can solve this case in 5 hours except the two of us." Fang Chuanxiong was also not very satisfied with Wang Jianfeng's performance. He said in a cold voice, "Captain Wang, we have no time to waste. Hurry up and lead the way." Wang Jianfeng shook his head helplessly and could only take several people to the interrogation room. Nalan Wuxia said angrily, "What the hell? He thinks he is great just because he came from the capital." Qin Haodong didn't care at all. He didn't need to do anything himself. He was more happy to be idle. "Now that there are experts, I'll go back." "Don't, Dr. Qin. I just saw the drug dealer. This man is obviously a person selected by the big drug lords in Burma. He has a very strong psychological quality and has rich experience in fighting with the police. Such a person is very difficult to deal with. I have a hunch that the two bullshit experts won't work. When the time comes, we will have to trouble you." Qin Haodong said, "I don't care so much. I'm just a little doctor. Solving the case is the police's business." Then he turned his head and was about to leave. Nalan Wuxia grabbed his hand. Qin Haodong turned back and smiled at her. "Officer Nalan, do you want to take advantage of me?" "Bah, nonsense." Nalan Wuxia shook off Qin Haodong's hand and said seriously, "Qin Haodong, I don't care if you're a doctor or a student. This case is very important to every Wuxia person. You know, if these drugs enter our country, millions of people will be harmed. Isn't your purpose as a doctor to cure patients and save people? If you solve this case, it will be more meritorious than saving one patient or even 100 patients." Qin Haodong thought for a moment and said, "Well, you've convinced me. I can wait here for a while, but on one condition. I promise you anything as long as you are willing to help." Nalan Wuxia said excitedly. Qin Haodong looked at her from head to toe, which made her panic. Then he smiled and said, "In fact, it's nothing. I just want you to have dinner with me, drink tea with me, chat with me, and be my third escort." "Bah, you're the third escort." Nalan Wuxia gave him a charming look. "Tell me, what do you want to eat?" "It doesn't matter what I eat. The key is who I eat with. Everything tastes good when there is a beauty to accompany me." Qin Haodong made fun of Nalan Wuxia. They had dinner together and then waited patiently. Time passed quickly. 4.5 hours had passed while they were waiting, but there was still no news from the interrogation room. Fang Chuanxiong was very calm at first, thinking that the two experts he had brought with him would be able to solve the case quickly. But as time passed, he slowly began to become anxious and restless, pacing back and forth in the hall of the criminal police unit. As the leader of the special task force, he certainly hoped that the first case he took over could be handled beautifully, but now it seemed that it would be very difficult. Wang Jianfeng, who had been accompanying him, also had an anxious look on his face. Only Qin Haodong looked relaxed and chatted with Nalan Wuxia in the corner. Sometimes he made her giggle and sometimes he made her blush. Another 10 minutes passed, and there were only 20 minutes left before 24 hours. The door of the interrogation room opened and 2 experts came out. Oh, the great experts came out. No wonder they are experts. The case has been solved in 20 minutes. It seems that we should go out and have a good celebration. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Fang Chuanxiong also asked eagerly, yes, you too. How is the case? The 2 experts looked embarrassed. The one wearing glasses said in a low voice, Leader Fang, the suspect is too cunning. There is no result for the time being. Didn't you say that our Jiangnan police are incompetent? You are a great expert from the capital. Why can't you solve it? This guy had just publicly belittled the Jiangnan police, and Nalan Wuxia had been holding back her anger for a long time. The expert wearing glasses didn't expect to be slapped in the face so soon. He blushed and couldn't speak for a while. The stout expert said, in fact, it's not our fault. The time left is too short. If we were involved at the beginning, we would definitely get the result. Chapter 59. The pudgy expert had nothing to say, but he was obviously much more thick-skinned than the man with glasses. He ignored Qin Haodong and turned to Fang Chuanxiong, saying, Leader, give us another 5 hours and we'll definitely get the result. Are you kidding? It's going to be 24 hours soon. How can I give you 5 hours? Nalan Wuxia said angrily. She didn't like the 2 experts at all. If they hadn't come out to make trouble, Qin would have solved the case. The chunky expert said confidently, what's wrong with such an important case? Besides, no one knows about it. Fang Chuanxiong lowered his head and pondered. On the one hand, he really wanted to solve the case. On the other hand, he also knew that it was against the discipline to detain people for more than 24 hours without evidence. Just as he was hesitating, the door opened and a man in a famous suit and gold-rimmed glasses came in. I'm Bai Su, a lawyer from the Jiangnan law firm. My client is being questioned by the crime squad. Who is the person in charge of the case? Wang Jianfeng's expression changed slightly when he saw Bai Su. As the captain of the Jiangnan Criminal Police Brigade, he had dealt with this person a lot. Bai Su was famous in the judicial circle of the whole Jiangnan city. First of all, he was very capable. He was proficient in all kinds of laws and was good at finding loopholes in the law. Second, this man had no bottom line. As long as he was paid, he would take any case and provide defense for any kind of person. Unexpectedly, the person behind this henchman invited him. It seemed that today's case was getting more and more difficult. Although this was the crime squad of the Jiangnan city, Fang Chuanxiong's position was the highest, so the case was naturally taken over by him. He said, I'm Fang Chuanxiong, the person in charge of the case. Tell me what you want. Bai Su opened the file bag in his hand and handed a small book and a few pages of paper to Fang Chuanxiong. Officer Fang, this is the lawyer's certificate and the power of attorney of the client's family. He was still very professional. He first showed the relevant documents and then said to Fang Chuanxiong, Officer Fang, as a lawyer, I want to see if the client has been tortured during the interrogation, or if the interrogation has been extended. The chunky expert was suddenly dumbfounded. He had just proposed to prepare for the overtime interrogation, but Qin Haodong's lawyer came. Fang Chuanxiong frowned. Before he could answer, the door opened and 2 middle-aged women walked in. Hello, I'm from the Association for the Protection of Women and Children. We heard that a 1-year-old child was involved in your case. We'd like to monitor if there's any inappropriate treatment of children. Then 2 more people walked in from the outside carrying cameras in their hands. Hello, we are reporters from the TV station. We would like to follow up and report on the drug case. In the corner of the interrogation room, there was a huge suitcase, in which dozens of bags of milk powder were neatly placed. Qin Haodong walked over and picked up a bag of milk powder to have a look. There were dense foreign letters on it. It was not English. It should be produced in Burma. The young man said, Don't look at it. Someone has looked at it dozens of times. If there were drugs in it, my son would have been poisoned. Wang Jianfeng said, At first, we also suspected that there was something wrong with the milk powder. We did a sample test one by one, but we found nothing. Nalan Wuxia looked at the young man and asked, Why did you buy so much milk powder? What else can milk powder do? Give it to my son. He glanced at Nalan Wuxia's plump breasts with wretched eyes and said jokingly, "My wife is an airport. If she had your equipment we wouldn't have to buy milk powder. We can't even finish it. You're courting death." Seeing this guy openly flirting with her, Nalan Wuxia was furious. She stepped forward to teach him a lesson, but was stopped by Wang Jianfeng. There were reporters and lawyers outside. It was not the time to be impulsive. The young man laughed fearlessly and said, "Hit me. Hit me if you can. Don't think I don't know. You will release him in 5 minutes. If you dare to touch me I will sue you." As he was talking arrogantly, Qin Haodong asked, "Is this child your son?" Seeing someone questioning the identity of the child, the young man's expression changed. He turned his head and was about to scold, but suddenly his expression froze slightly. He had fallen into Qin Haodong's mind-bewitching skill. "Not my son. I haven't married yet," the young man replied honestly. "Where did this child come from?" Qin Haodong asked again. "He stole it for the convenience of covering up when transporting drugs." As soon as he said this, everyone's expression changed. The young man not only admitted that he was a drug trafficker, but also a child abductor. Fang Chuanxiong's face showed a look of ecstasy. With this sentence he could turn this guy into a criminal, and he would no longer be restricted by 24 hours. The two experts were dumbfounded. They had seen it just now. This henchman was very experienced. No matter how they asked, they couldn't get anything useful out of him. However, when Qin Haodong opened his mouth, this guy told them everything. Did he know magic? Bai Su's face became very ugly, and he secretly scolded, "Idiot." Qin Haodong smiled and asked, "How much drugs did you bring this time?" "Not too much, 10 kilograms, the young man said. "Where are the things? Where did you put them?" This was the most critical question. After Qin Haodong asked it, everyone's heart was in his throat. As long as they found the drugs, they could convict this little henchman. If they couldn't find them, everything would be empty talk. Wang Jianfeng and Nalan Wuxia were nervous. The success of the case was in front of them. The young man pointed to the suitcase and said, "Is it over there?" "What do you mean? Why didn't we see it?" Qin Haodong asked. "It's not outside. This suitcase was specially made by us. The drugs were mixed with raw materials to make this suitcase. It can't be seen from the outside at all, but if you lift it, you will find that this suitcase is very heavy. So much milk powder is to divert your attention and cover the weight of the suitcase." After the young man finished speaking, the people in the police station suddenly realized that it was like this. The drugs were under their noses, but they couldn't find them at all. The drug traffickers' means were getting more and more sophisticated. Nalan Wuxia looked at Qin Haodong with admiration. If he hadn't asked this result, he would never have thought that there were drugs hidden in this suitcase. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. The case was now solved. He asked again, "The drugs are hidden in the suitcase. How can we extract them?" The young man said, "Our experts have already arrived in the south of the Yangtze River. When I take the suitcase there, all the drugs can be restored by chemical means. Not a gram will be missing." Seeing that all the hatchet men had confessed, Bai Su and others had no reason to stay any longer, so they all left the crime squad resentfully. They did take advantage of others to make trouble, but now it seemed that it was useless. Later, Qin Haodong asked a few more questions according to Wang Jianfeng's request, including the drug case and the source of the child. The whole interrogation room was monitored by video, so Qin Haodong was not afraid that the boy would go back on his words. After asking the questions, he left the interrogation room and left the rest to the police. As soon as he went out, Fang Chuanxiong greeted him warmly. He took Qin Haodong's hand and said, "Thank you, young man. Thank you so much." "It's nothing. It's nothing," Qin Haodong said carelessly. "Master, you are the master of interrogation. I'm really sorry just now. I offended you." Fang Chuanxiong apologized again and said, "Young man, our police department is in urgent need of talents like you. As long as you are willing, I will immediately transfer you to the special department. You don't have to worry about the treatment, Mr. Fang. Thank you for your kindness, but I am a doctor. I can help the Public Security Bureau, but I am not interested in being a police officer." Qin Haodong refused directly. "What a pity." Fang Chuanxiong looked regretful, then took out a business card and said, "Brother Qin, this is my business card. You can call me if you need anything." Qin Haodong nodded, took the business card and put it in his pocket. Chapter 60. After the result of the interrogation, the whole criminal police unit was busy. Qin Haodong had nothing to do, so he drove back. It was almost midnight, and there were not many pedestrians on the road. Although he was driving the Honda today, he drove very fast and overtook many cars on the road. When he overtook a Mercedes-Benz, Qin Haodong turned his head subconsciously. The windows of the Mercedes-Benz were covered with solar film, but Qin Haodong's eyesight was far better than that of ordinary people. He saw a woman tied in the back seat of the car and her mouth was taped. There was no doubt that this was another kidnapping. After the kidnapping of Lin Momo and the little fellow, he couldn't bear to see this kind of dirty business of kidnapping women. Suddenly he was angry. He suddenly turned and blocked the way of the Mercedes-Benz. With a shrill braking sound, the Mercedes-Benz stopped. "Do you know how to drive?" Curses came from the Mercedes-Benz, and then two men in black suits jumped out. Qin Haodong got out of the car and walked to the two men with a smile. The leading man with a flat top scolded Qin Haodong, "Are you F***king sick? How can you drive like this? Hang yourself if you want to die." The other long-haired man pulled him and said, "Lao air, forget it. We have business to do. Anyway, we didn't hit her. Let's go." "You're lucky. If it was any other day, I would beat you so hard that your mother wouldn't recognize you." The flat-top man scolded again and turned to walk to the car. "Stop, did I say you could go?" Qin Haodong said. "What else do you want? Are you itching for a beating?" The flat-top man said angrily. The long-haired man pushed him aside and said to Qin Haodong, "The car didn't hit her. What else do you want?" "Of course." Qin Haodong pointed to the Mercedes-Benz and said, "What's the matter with the woman in the back?" After hearing this, the faces of the two men in black suits changed. The long-haired man stared at Qin Haodong coldly and asked, "Boy, who are you?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I'm just a passerby. I was curious and wanted to ask what was going on." The man with the flat top said fiercely, "Get out of here. Let me tell you, there are some things you can't control and there are some people you can't afford to offend." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I've been curious since I was a child. I'd like to see who on earth I can't afford to offend." "Brat, you're courting death," the man with the crew cut said and punched Qin Haodong in the face. This punch was thrown with vigor, and it seemed that he had some skill. Qin Haodong didn't bother to talk nonsense with him. He lifted his foot and kicked the flat-top man's belly hard, sending him flying. At this time, another long-haired man also rushed over. Qin Haodong also kicked him away and fought with the crew-cut man. After dealing with these two people, Qin Haodong stepped to the back seat of the Mercedes-Benz. He opened the door and saw a woman lying in the back seat, looking at him in horror. She was wearing a long white dress, which accentuated her sexy figure even more. Although she had a panicked expression on her face, it could still be seen that she was a very beautiful woman. "Don't be afraid. I'm here to save you," Qin Haodong said and pulled the woman out of the car. He tore off the tape on the woman's mouth and broke the rope on her body. "How are you? Are you hurt?" "I'm fine." The woman looked much better. She raised her hand and tidied her hair. This was a woman with a very outstanding temperament. "What's going on? Do you need me to call the police for you?" Qin Haodong asked. "No, the police can't handle my business," the woman said. Qin Haodong turned his head and saw that the two men in black suits had just gotten up and ran away. "They're gone. You can go back," Qin Haodong said and was about to leave. The woman grabbed his arm and said in a panic, "Wait a minute. What, do you want me to send you back?" Qin Haodong asked. The woman hesitated and said, "Can I stay at your place for one night? Why do you want to go to my place? Why don't you go home?" Qin Haodong was quite surprised. Although this woman was very beautiful, it was not appropriate for her to go home with him as soon as they met. The woman raised her head, looked directly at Qin Haodong and asked, "Don't you know me?" Qin Haodong was puzzled by the question. He looked at the woman carefully and was sure that he really didn't know her. He asked, "Have we met before?" The woman obviously didn't expect this answer. After a slight surprise, she said, "I'm not from here. I don't have a home in Jiangnan. I used to live in a hotel, but now you see the situation. It's not safe there. I don't dare to go back for the time being." "I see." Qin Haodong thought for a moment. He would help her to the end. Besides, she was a beautiful woman. "Let's go back with me." After that, he took the woman to the Honda and went back to his home. "Your house is so beautiful." The woman had calmed down and looked extremely elegant. Qin Haodong said, "It's okay. There are many rooms in my house. You can choose one to live in." The woman agreed. She seemed to be a little embarrassed to say something. Her cheeks were slightly flushed. Qin Haodong heard a gurgling sound. Only then did he realize that the woman was hungry. "Haven't you eaten yet?" "Yes." The woman nodded. Wait, I'll make you something to eat. Qin Haodong took 2 steps, then turned back and said, there's a bathroom over there. You can take a bath first. The woman nodded and turned into the bathroom. Qin Haodong went into the kitchen. Lin Ziyuan sent someone to take care of the kitchen every day. The ingredients in the kitchen were all available. Soon he brought a large bowl of steaming noodles to the table. At this time, the woman opened the bathroom door a crack, poked her head out and said, my clothes are dirty. Do you have any suitable clothes? Wait, I'll go and have a look. Qin Haodong looked around, but there was no woman's clothes. Finally, he picked up a large shirt of his and threw it to the woman as pajamas. When the woman walked out of the bathroom, her long wet hair was thrown behind her head. Her ruddy skin was tender. The large shirt on her exquisite body had a unique flavor. Come and eat, Qin Haodong said. The woman went to the table and looked at the vegetarian noodles without any trace of meat. She frowned slightly. Obviously, she was not satisfied with the bowl of noodles. But when she picked up the chopsticks, picked up a noodle and put it into her mouth, her eyes suddenly widened. Delicious. It was so delicious. Although she had eaten a lot of delicious food, she had never eaten such delicious noodles. Although the woman was very hungry and the noodles were delicious, her eating posture was very elegant. It could be seen that she had been well educated. After eating, the woman put the bowl and chopsticks on the table and said with a moved face, thank you, your noodles are delicious. Qin Haodong suddenly felt awkward. Well, I admit that I'm dirty. The woman raised her hand and tidied her long hair to the back of her head, revealing her whole face. Then she looked at Qin Haodong and said, you really don't know me? Why should I know you? You seem to be famous. Qin Haodong despised this woman in his heart. Although she was very beautiful, although she was very sexy, she could not ask him to know her. She was too narcissistic. The woman looked dull and said, you saved me, but I still don't know your name. Can you tell me? Qin Haodong. The woman waited for a while. After Qin Haodong said these 3 words, there was no more. How rude. Didn't he know how to ask the girl's name? Since he didn't know, he had to say it himself. The woman hesitated for a moment and said, my name is Ouyang Shanshan. Oh, that's a good name. Qin Haodong said it casually, but soon realized that something was wrong. Ouyang Shanshan? Why did it sound so familiar? It seemed that the big star his daughter mentioned was also called Ouyang Shanshan. It couldn't be such a coincidence that he picked up a big star randomly. Your name is Ouyang Shanshan? Yes. You sing? I also dabble in film and television. Great, it's really you. Qin Haodong suddenly became excited. You don't know me, do you? Ouyang Shanshan pouted and said. Obviously, she was very dissatisfied with Qin Haodong's indifference just now. People's psychology was very strange. It was annoying to be recognized wherever she went, but when she met someone who didn't know her, she felt very disappointed. But suddenly she found that Qin Haodong took out his mobile phone and compared it with her while looking at the photo on the phone. What did he mean? Was he afraid that she was deceiving him? Ouyang Shanshan guessed right. Qin Haodong was indeed checking her identity according to the search results of Baidu. He had to be careful about this kind of thing. He promised to get an autograph for his daughter. If he got a fake one, he would feel sorry for the little fellow. After confirming that there was no mistake, Qin Haodong nodded with satisfaction. Yes, it's you. You haven't answered my question yet. You don't know me, do you? How do you know my name? Oh, I don't know you, but my daughter likes your songs very much. Your daughter? How old are you? You have a daughter? Ouyang Shanshan asked in surprise. Qin Haodong was too lazy to explain after being asked so many questions. He said directly, she's my goddaughter. Ouyang Shanshan nodded. Well, do you have an autograph? Can you give me one? Qin Haodong said. The autograph that he promised the little fellow hadn't been fulfilled yet. Today he met the real person, so he couldn't let it go. No, I was kidnapped, not attending a fan meeting. How could I have that thing with me? Ouyang Shanshan said, if you like, I can take a photo with you. No. It's my daughter who wants it. Qin Haodong was a little embarrassed. Although the mobile phone could take photos, there was no way to sign. You are so kind to your daughter. Ouyang Shanshan said, in fact, in addition to photos, other things can also be signed. Yes, wait for me. I'll be back soon. Qin Haodong said, turned around and ran out. At this time, the people of the Lin family had already fallen asleep. Damao and Ermao immediately jumped up alertly when they heard the noise. After seeing that it was him, they rubbed against each other intimately and ran back to sleep. Qin Haodong sneaked into the little fellow's room, stuffed all the things she usually used into a bag, and then returned to his home. Can I trouble you to give me an autograph? Chapter 61. It took Ouyang Shanshan more than half an hour to sign all the things that Qin Haodong had brought. She had set a record today. It was the first time that she had signed a bottle and a diaper after being famous for so many years. Well, thank you. Now the little girl will be satisfied, Qin Haodong said happily. Looking at his satisfied expression, Ouyang Shanshan couldn't help saying again, "You are so good to your daughter." Of course I love my child. Ouyang Shanshan's expression changed. She sat in the chair with a lost face and said, "Not necessarily. My father is not like that." "What? Is your father not good to you?" Qin Haodong asked in surprise. Ouyang Shanshan seemed to be touched. She said faintly, "As long as I can remember, my father was a drunkard and a gambling addict. Every day he went out and lost all the money at home and came home drunk. Then he beat my mother and me. If she hadn't been abused by him for so many years, my mother wouldn't have died so early. Even now he still hasn't changed his bad habits. He comes to me from time to ask for money. So I'm really jealous to see that you, her godfather, are so good to your daughter." Qin Haodong didn't expect that a big star would have such a miserable childhood. He said, "Although your father is a bit unreliable, it's better than me who doesn't even know who my parents are. You know that your father is a drunkard, but I've been an orphan since I was a child. I don't even know what my father is like." After that, he also felt that the topic was a little heavy. He said, "Let's not talk about unhappy things. What happened to you tonight? Don't big stars like you go out with bodyguards? Why were you kidnapped?" Ouyang Shanshan said, "The two people who kidnapped me are my bodyguards." Qin Haodong was stunned and said, "That's too unreliable. How could you kidnap your employer? Where did you find such excellent bodyguards?" Ouyang Shanshan sighed and said, "I'm an artist of Duku Culture and Media Company. The bodyguards are also arranged for me by the company. They nominally protect my safety, but in fact they completely obey the orders of the company." Qin Haodong became more and more confused. He asked, "What do you mean? Did your company ask them to kidnap you?" "It's like this." Ouyang Shanshan nodded and said, "You've probably heard about the film and television industry. It's a mess. Our company's boss is called Lu Huaqiang. Although he is a strong person, he didn't force me to do anything in the past when he saw that I could earn money for the company. But this time, in order to curry favor with a rich young master, he forced me to go to bed with him. All these years I've always been clean, so of course I won't agree to such an unreasonable request. Later Lu Huaqiang threatened me. If I didn't agree, he would cancel the concert in Jiangnan and hide me in the future. He wouldn't give me any chance to appear in public." Qin Haodong nodded secretly. If other entertainers in the entertainment circle had said this, he would have scoffed at them and thought they were acting. However, he could see that Ouyang Shanshan's virginity was strong and pure. She was indeed not the kind of entertainer who led a messy life. It was extremely rare to be able to remain unstained in the big dye vat that was showbiz. Ouyang Shanshan continued, "Even so, I didn't agree. When I signed the contract with the company, I made it clear that I would not accept any arrangement that had nothing to do with work. Later, Lu Huaqiang became angry and directly ordered 2 bodyguards to tie me up and send me to the rich young master. I was desperate at that time. I didn't expect to meet you later." Qin Haodong thought to himself that these big stars looked bright and enviable on the surface, but in fact they knew that they were suffering and their lives were not satisfactory. He asked, "What are you going to do? Call the police?" With Lu Huaqiang's strength and connections, it's useless to call the police. Ouyang Shanshan said with a sad face, "I signed a contract with Duku Company for 5 years. Now it's only less than 2 years. It's impossible to terminate the contract. I can only take one step at a time. If that day comes, I might as well commit suicide." Looking at her determined expression, Qin Haodong didn't want such a beautiful woman to die. Moreover, she was his daughter's idol. He said, "Are the things that Lu Huaqiang asked you to do not be presentable in public?" "Of course. Although I'm an artist of the company, I'm not a prostitute of the company. I work hard to make money with my own ability. He has no reason to ask me to do this kind of thing. That's easy. You can find a few strong bodyguards to guard yourself so he can't do anything to you. I guess a big star like you is rich. It's not a problem to hire a few bodyguards, right?" Ouyang Shanshan said, "I have money, but the problem is that no security company or bodyguard dares to offend Lu Huaqiang. Even if they do, I'm afraid they will still kidnap me and send me to others." Qin Haodong said, "That's easy. I've just set up a security company. I can provide you with bodyguards. I can guarantee that the bodyguards of our company are absolutely safe and reliable. Even if you face the king, they can guarantee your safety. Really? Aren't you afraid of Lu Huaqiang? Ouyang Shanshan asked incredulously. Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, I've never heard of the person you're talking about. Even if he's a bit powerful, he's just an ant in my eyes. Great. Ouyang Shanshan looked happy. I'll use your company's bodyguards. Tell me, how much do you need? Qin Haodong touched his nose and said, My security company has just been prepared and hasn't been officially established yet. Well, I'll discuss it tomorrow and give you an accurate answer. Before that, you can live here with peace of mind. There won't be any danger. After Saber and others went to protect Lin Momo, the preparation of the security company was completely handed over to Nailan Wushuang. He hadn't asked about it in the past few days, so he didn't know how it was going. Ouyang Shanshan's face was full of joy. During this period of time, she had been living in fear, and now she finally saw hope. When the matter was almost settled, both of them went back to their rooms to rest. Because they slept too late, Ouyang Shanshan was still sleeping when Qin Haodong got up the next day. He didn't disturb Ouyang Shanshan. He put all the things signed by the little fellow into the bag, and then carried them into the Lin's villa. When the little fellow saw Qin Haodong, she immediately threw herself into his arms, put her arms around his neck and asked, Papa, where did you go yesterday? Why didn't you come back to play with me? Papa went to prepare a gift for me, Qin Haodong said with a smile. Really? What's the gift? The little fellow suddenly became interested. Tang Tang, what gift do you want most? I want the autographed photo of the big star, Ouyang Shanshan, so that Wang Xiaoming can also envy me. Autographed photo? But I have other things. Qin Haodong said as he put the little fellow on the ground. Then he opened the bag and poured out the school bag, pencil box, notebook, milk bottle, and diapers. Look, these are the autographs of the big star, Ouyang Shanshan. Seeing that all her things were signed by her idol, the little fellow jumped with joy and shouted excitedly, Papa, you're great. I love you. Then she shouted excitedly, Mama, Mama, come and see, I have a lot of autographs of big stars. Lin Momo came over and looked at the things on the ground. Then she quietly pulled Qin Haodong aside and whispered, I know you want to make me happy, but it's wrong to lie to a child. When did I lie to you? Qin Haodong said in surprise. Oh, you even signed the diapers. You must have done it yourself, didn't you? In Lin Momo's opinion, these autographs must have been signed by Qin Haodong pretending to be Ouyang Shanshan. Otherwise it would be good enough for a big star to sign her name. How could she sign so many, let alone sign the diapers? I knew you would say that. Qin Haodong took out his mobile phone from his pocket, found a video file and pressed the play button. Hello Tang Tang, I'm Ouyang Shanshan. I wish you good health, happiness and more beautiful. On the screen, Ouyang Shanshan took Tang Tang's little school bag and solemnly signed her name on it. How about it? Do you think it's true? Qin Haodong said proudly. He had prepared this video for a long time. He had signed so many names at once. Maybe some children didn't believe it at all, so he asked Ouyang Shanshan to record such a video so that the little fellow could show it to the children. Now he showed it to Lin Momo first. It's true. Where did you find the big star, Ouyang Shanshan? Lin Momo asked in surprise. My friend helped me contact her. Qin Haodong didn't dare to say that the big star was sleeping in his house. They were innocent and it would be bad if Lin Momo misunderstood. The reason why he didn't ask Ouyang Shanshan to meet the little fellow was that he thought it was appropriate to stop chasing stars. It was too bad for the little fellow's growth. No, why does the decoration of the living room look a bit like yours? Lin Momo asked doubtfully. Well, in fact, the decoration of many houses is quite similar. My friend's house is also decorated like this. Qin Haodong tried to explain. Fortunately, the little fellow ran over at this time. Papa, show me. Qin Haodong squatted down and played the video on the mobile phone to the little fellow again. Great. I not only have signed photos but also videos. Let's see how Wang Xiaoming shows off to me. The little fellow spun happily on the ground. After breakfast, Qin Haodong said to Lin Momo, I'm going out to do something today so I won't go to work. Lin Momo rolled her eyes at him and said, You're really unreliable. You're absent more than you go to work. Be careful or I'll deduct your salary. Qin Haodong said with a smile, Deduct it. Anyway, I rely on my face to make a living. It doesn't matter if I don't pay you or not. After sending Lin Momo and the little fellow away, Qin Haodong turned back to his home. As soon as he entered the door, he saw Nailan Wushuang's Hummer parked in the yard. Speak of the devil and he will appear. He was just about to look for her, and this last delivered herself to his door. Qin Haodong entered the door thinking. As soon as he entered the house, he saw Nalan Wushuang and Ouyang Shanshan looking at each other. Nalan Wushuang asked, "Who are you? Why do you live here and wear his clothes?" Ouyang Shanshan didn't show weakness. "Who are you? Who let you in? It's none of your business who I wear." Chapter 62. Qin Haodong, who is she? Why does she live in your house? Nalan Wushuang came to Qin Haodong early in the morning to discuss the security company. She didn't expect to see Qin Haodong when she entered the door. Instead, she saw a beautiful woman wearing his clothes. She suddenly felt inexplicable anger in her heart. "Pete, don't get me wrong. She is a client, a client." Before Qin Haodong finished, Nalan Wushuang said angrily, "Qin Haodong, how dare you spend money on such a shady woman? How dare you say that she is a client? It seems that this is not the first time. Pete, who are you calling shady? I think you're the one who's shady." Ouyang Shanshan was suddenly unhappy. "Okay, stop quarreling." Qin Haodong roared, and the two women immediately quieted down. He gave the breakfast he brought back to Ouyang Shanshan and asked her to eat in the dining room. Then he took Nalan Wushuang to the living room. "You are getting more and more outrageous. How dare you find such a woman?" Nalan Wushuang sat on the sofa, feeling more and more wronged as she thought about it. This guy didn't pursue a beautiful woman like her, but went to find such a woman who spent money. Listen to me. It's not what you think." Qin Haodong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Pete, tell me what the hell is going on?" Nalan Wushuang asked angrily. Don't you think she looks familiar?" Qin Haodong was somewhat curious. He didn't chase after stars, but didn't the young lady of the Nalan family know Ouyang Shanshan? Although Nalan Wushuang didn't chase after stars, she also knew Ouyang Shanshan. But when she suddenly saw a woman in Qin Haodong's house wearing only his shirt, she didn't think about it seriously in a hurry. Now after hearing Qin Haodong's words, she calmed down and said with a puzzled face, "She is a little familiar. She seems to be a little like the big star Ouyang Shanshan. Where did you find her? The price is not cheap, right?" Qin Haodong was speechless. Why did this girl think that he was spending money to find a woman? What do you mean a bit similar? She is Ouyang Shanshan. Qin Haodong told Nalan Wushuang about saving Ouyang Shanshan last night and finally said, "The superstar is in urgent need of a loyal and reliable bodyguard. I'm going to make her the first client of our security company." It's this client." Nalan Wushuang looked embarrassed, knowing that she had misunderstood Qin Haodong. What else do you think?" Qin Haodong was annoyed. After his rebirth he was still a virgin. How could he be mistaken as a whoremaster? "I'm sorry." Nalan Wushuang said with embarrassment. Forget it, let's get down to business. Otherwise I was going to look for you. How's the security company going?" "I came here today to discuss this matter with you." Nalan Wushuang said, "I've been running around the security company these days. I've made some progress, but there are some important things I need to discuss with you." Tell me, I'm listening." Qin Haodong knew nothing about running a company. The reason why he wanted to set up this security company was to have a better power to protect Lin Momo and the little fellow. If you want to open a security company, you must first choose a suitable location. It can't be too far from the city and it must be large enough. I've been running around a lot these days and finally found a suitable location. It's a martial arts school. Because of poor management, it's going to be sold. It has all the necessary office space and training facilities. It's perfect for a security company. Well, if you think it's good, let's set it here. In terms of foresight, Qin Haodong trusted Nalan Wushuang very much. Well, that's the first question. Let's talk about the next one. Nalan Wushuang said, "This martial arts school wants 60 million yuan. I've talked with them several times and finally reduced it to 55 million yuan. There's no room for further reduction." Qin Haodong grinned. He only had 20 million yuan in total, and now there were only tens of thousands of yuan left in his pocket. He couldn't get any more money to invest unless he asked Lin Momo for money, but he didn't want to do that. Nalan Wushuang continued, 55 million yuan is only the initial investment for the site. After the establishment of the company, we need to buy vehicles and weapons, improve training and living facilities. It's expected that we will continue to invest about 10 million yuan. Plus about 5 million yuan of working capital, the total investment will be 70 million yuan. So much. But I don't have so much money for the time being. How about we find a cheaper place? Pina, too remote place is not conducive to the future development of the company, and a small area can't expand the scale of the security company. Overall, this is the most suitable place. P. But I don't have so much money. Pinalin Wushuang seemed to have known that Qin Haodong didn't have enough money. She said, "It's not a problem of money. I can invest." P. You want to invest? Qin Haodong was somewhat surprised. P. Yes, I'm very optimistic about your company. I'll invest 50 million yuan and take 40% of the company's shares. What do you think? If you agree, we can sign a cooperation agreement now and then I'll buy the land. Pete, 50 million yuan? 40% of the shares? Qin Haodong was very surprised. Ping, why is it too much? I can take 30%. Ping, no, I don't mean that. Qin Haodong stared at Nailan Wushuang and said, your math was not taught by a PE teacher, was it? We invested a total of 70 million yuan to open this company. You pay 50 million yuan and take 40% of the shares. Isn't that a big loss? Pinalin Wushuang gave him a hard look and said, your math was taught by a PE teacher. I graduated from the Department of Finance of Jiangnan University. Qin Haodong's original intention in setting up this security company was to protect his daughter, so he thought of naming it after Daddy Security. Pinalin Wushuang thought for a moment and said helplessly, well, you're a major shareholder anyway. It's up to you. Qin Haodong said, now that the name has been decided, let's discuss the charging standard. Our company's first customer is already waiting there. Pinalin Wushuang said, I already have a preliminary idea about this. I'm going to divide the company's security guards into 9 levels according to the level of warriors, and then charge them according to the level. The first level is the lowest, and the 9th level is the highest. Ping, well, that's a good idea. Qin Haodong said, how much is the price? He was just a student before and had never been a bodyguard. Naturally, he couldn't afford a bodyguard, so he didn't know the price of the bodyguard market. Pete, the price of a first-level bodyguard is 10,000 yuan a month, a second-level bodyguard is 100,000 yuan, a third-level bodyguard is 200,000 yuan, and so on. The highest 9th-level bodyguard is 800,000 yuan. Of course, the price and the level of the bodyguard are not fixed. The company will adjust it every month according to the performance of the bodyguard. For the time being, the highest of the 6 people in the Divine Mercenaries is level 9, and the soldier King Chen Fugue is level 8. The others will be evaluated according to their personal conditions. When our security company has a firm foothold in the south of the Yangtze River, the price will be adjusted upward. Pete, so expensive? Qin Haodong was speechless. He didn't expect that being a bodyguard could make so much money. Pinalin Wushuang said, the richer people are, the more afraid they are of death. No matter how much money they have, it's useless when they are dead, so they are willing to spend money on security. Pete, alright then, I'll go talk to Ouyang Shanshan and see what level of bodyguard she'll hire. Qin Haodong stood up and was about to leave. Nailan Wushuang reached out and grabbed him. Wait a minute, I haven't finished yet. Ping, what else? Pete, I'm going to set up a super-level bodyguard in addition to the first-level to 9th-level bodyguards. After Nailan Wushuang finished speaking, she looked at him charmingly. Qin Haodong felt something was wrong and cried, you're not thinking about me, are you? I'm a doctor. I don't have time to be a bodyguard. I've said that I'll manage the company, and you have to listen to my arrangements. Nailan Wushuang said, you're the trump card of the company, a super-level bodyguard. The price is 1 million yuan, not every month, but every hour. Chapter 63. Qin Haodong opened his mouth wide and said, 1 million for an hour? Isn't that too high? Pinalin Wuxia said, it's not high. The trump card of the company naturally has a trump card price. Alright then, I agree. Qin Haodong agreed. Although there were many rich people in the south of the Yangtze River, few of them could afford such a high price. When the discussion was almost over, Ouyang Shanshan had also finished her breakfast. Under Qin Haodong's introduction, Ouyang Shanshan and Nailan Wushuang sat together again, but their identities had changed dramatically. One was the general manager of Daddy Security Company, and the other was the big star Ouyang Shanshan, the first client of the company. It was agreed that Nailan Wushuang would be responsible for the company's affairs, so Qin Haodong would no longer participate. Half an hour later, Nailan Wushuang signed the first cooperation agreement with Ouyang Shanshan on behalf of Daddy Security Company. Ouyang Shanshan paid a down payment of 2 million yuan to Daddy Security Company, and Daddy Security Company would provide Ouyang Shanshan with an 8th grade bodyguard and 4 7th grade bodyguards. Shortly after the agreement was reached, an army green jeep arrived at Qin Haodong's house. 5 people got off the car led by Qin Fugue, the Soldier King. Although the other 4 people were not very tall, they were full of battle experience. After seeing the 5 people, Ouyang Shanshan nodded with satisfaction. Although she didn't know martial arts, she could see that these people were different from the previous bodyguards. Qin Haodong said, "You are the first client of our company and my daughter's idol. On behalf of the company, I will give you a big gift for free to help you solve the current trouble." Qin Haodong was very fond of this pure female star. After all, she had helped the little fellow sign so many words, so he decided to help her. Solve the trouble? What do you mean? Ouyang Shanshan asked. Take me to see your company's boss, Lu Huaqiang, and leave the rest to me. Can this work? Lu Huaqiang's power is very great. Ouyang Shanshan didn't say the rest of the words. Qin Haodong saved her, so she didn't want to cause trouble for Qin Haodong. She was satisfied to be able to ensure her own safety. It's alright, you don't have to worry about that. Qin Haodong said with a smile. Anyway, I want Lu to make you more popular in the future. If he really bans you, how are you going to pay the bodyguard fee of our company? We will lose a big client then. Thank you. Ouyang Shanshan knew that Qin Haodong really wanted to help her. He just didn't want her to have any psychological burden. The Jiangnan branch of Duke Film and Culture Company, Lu Huaqiang was pointing at the noses of the 2 bodyguards and cursing, "Are you King idiots?" Ouyang Shanshan was actually snatched away by a person. Instead of raising you guys, I might as well raise a dog. The 2 people in front of him were the 2 bodyguards who kidnapped Ouyang Shanshan last night. At this time, they lowered their heads and did not dare to make a sound after being scolded. What the F***ck are you still standing here for? Hurry up and find her. If you can't find Ouyang Shanshan before dark, all of you will jump into the river. Lu Huaqiang was indeed very angry. That young master had taken a fancy to Ouyang Shanshan, who was under his company, and specifically asked her to come and serve him. Although Ouyang Shanshan was the top artist of their company, he couldn't afford to offend that person. Otherwise he would have to close down the company. He had no choice but to discuss with Ouyang Shanshan. However, the girl was so stubborn that no matter how he discussed, it wouldn't work. In the end, he was so anxious that he asked the bodyguards to tie up Ouyang Shanshan and send her to the young master. Unexpectedly, the 2 idiots lost her on the way. The young master was very angry when he didn't see Ouyang Shanshan for a long time. He thought that Lu Huaqiang was playing with him. He had already said that if he didn't see Ouyang Shanshan before dark, Duke Film and Culture Company would be waiting to close down. The 2 bodyguards answered and turned to go out. At this time the door was kicked open with a bang. Don't bother. We're here. It was Qin Haodong who came in. Nalan Wushuang and Ouyang Shanshan were next to him, followed by Qin Fugue and 4 other bodyguards. After seeing Ouyang Shanshan, Lu Huaqiang's eyes lit up. He picked up a walkie-talkie on the table and shouted, "Bring the guys and come here." It had to be said that his men were quite efficient. As soon as he put the walkie-talkie on the table, there was a noisy sound of footsteps outside the door. Then, more than a dozen bodyguards in black rushed in and surrounded Qin Haodong and his companions. The bodyguard with a flat top pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted, "Boss, it's that little white face who took her away." Lu Huaqiang stood up from behind the boss's desk and stepped in front of Qin Haodong. He said with a sneer, "Little white face, you're really capable. You even dare to touch my people." After that, he turned to look at Ouyang Shanshan and said, "Bitch, it seems that I really gave you face before. How dare you run away? Don't come back if you have the ability. Don't think that you're a star because someone is supporting you. You're nothing without my company. I can make you popular, but I can also make you worthless." The more he said, the more proud he became. It seemed that he had completely controlled the situation. He pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted to his subordinates, "This guy kidnapped our company's artist. Teach him a good lesson, then tie him up and send him to the Public Security Bureau." 5 bodyguards answered and rushed towards Qin Haodong while waving their weapons. Qin Fugue shouted and led his 4 bodyguards to meet them. Although they were unarmed, their skills were much better than Lu Huaqiang's men. After the fight, it was a completely one-sided situation. The bodyguards were beaten to the point of crying and crawling on the ground. In less than 2 minutes, Qin Fugue finished the fight. More than a dozen people called by Lu Huaqiang were lying on the ground, wailing. Some of them couldn't get up and some didn't dare to get up at all. Pilu Huaqiang turned pale with fright. He didn't expect that the 5 people brought by Qin Haodong who looked ordinary, could beat his tall and strong men like dogs. "Pin boss, what about him?" Chen Fugui pointed at Lu Huaqiang and asked. Qin Haodong smiled slightly and said, "This guy's words are too smelly. Help him wash his mouth." "Pete got it, boss." Chen Fugui agreed and strode towards Lu Huaqiang. "Pete, don't mess around. I'm telling you." Lu Huaqiang originally wanted to say a few harsh words, but Chen Fugui didn't give him the chance at all. He kicked him to the ground and slapped his face a dozen times in a row. The slaps were loud. Seeing that it was about time, Qin Haodong waved his hand and Chen Fugui retreated to the side. Lu Huaqiang got up from the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood mixed with his teeth. He pointed at Qin Haodong and scolded, "Kid, just you wait. I'll make sure you can't survive in Jiangnan. It seems that you're still not convinced." Qin Haodong kicked him over, then took out a small black pill from his pocket, pinched his mouth and stuffed it into his mouth. Lu Huaqiang knew that the small pill was definitely not something good. He wanted to spit it out but it was too late. "Ping, what did you give me?" he asked in a panic. Qin Haodong smiled and said, "It's nothing. I saw that you were too hot-tempered so I gave it to you. You'll know what it means to want to die later." Lu Huaqiang wanted to say something, but he suddenly felt a sharp pain. The pain seemed to come from the depths of his soul. It was 1,000 times more painful than the big slap Chen Fugui had just given him. The pain was getting stronger and stronger. It made him roll around on the ground and wail. "Pete, how is it? Does it feel good?" Qin Haodong squatted down and asked. "I'm convinced. I'm really convinced. Please spare me. Let me go." Lu Huaqiang was in so much pain that he was covered in tears and snot. He was no longer as tough as before. The bodyguards on the ground saw his miserable appearance, but none of them dared to help him. On the contrary, they all secretly stayed away from Qin Haodong, afraid that he would give them the same pill. "So fast. It's not even a minute. You have to hold on for at least half an hour." Hearing that there was still half an hour left, Lu Huaqiang was about to go crazy. He couldn't bear the pain for another second. He hugged Qin Haodong's calf and said, "Father, dear father, please spare me. I'll do whatever you want me to do in the future. Do you still want to kidnap Ouyang Shanshan and give her away?" "No, I won't dare to do it again. I won't hurt my wife even if I have to give her away." "Then do you still want to ban her?" "No, never. The company will try its best to promote her in the future. You're so boring. You have no backbone at all. But since you're sincere, I'll spare you this time." After saying that, Qin Haodong raised his hand and poked him a few times. The bone-piercing pain immediately disappeared, which was quite amazing. Lu Huaqiang lay on the ground and didn't move. He breathed heavily. The feeling just now was so terrifying. It was 10 times worse than death. It would be a nightmare for him for the rest of his life. Get up. I still have something to tell you." Qin Haodong kicked him on the butt. Just tell me what you want." Lu Huaqiang was afraid of Qin Haodong now. He sat up from the ground and looked very respectful. Do you still remember what you said just now?" Yes, I remember." Lu Huaqiang promised again and again, but he secretly thought, "When I turn over, I'll definitely teach you and this bitch a lesson. It doesn't matter if you forget." Qin Haodong said with a smile, "The pill I just gave you is called the elixir of God. It means that as long as the medicine takes effect, even the gods can't save you. It's a good thing. Once you take it, it will be effective for a lifetime." "Pia?" Lu Huaqiang turned pale with fright. His whole body trembled as he begged, "Please let me go. I won't do it again. I really won't do it again. From now on, I will be your dog. I will bite whoever you want me to bite. This pill will take effect once a month for 7 days. It's much stronger than a woman's period." Qin Haodong patted Lu Huaqiang's pale cheek and said, "But don't be afraid. I have the antidote in my hand. As long as you take one, it won't take effect for a month. I'll give the antidote to Ouyang Shanshan. You can get one from her every month." Ouyang Shanshan was moved. She knew that Qin Haodong was helping her completely avoid future troubles. Looking at Lu Huaqiang's flickering eyes, Qin Haodong added, "I advise you to be honest. Don't have any wicked ideas. This medicine is developed by me. No one can cure it. And don't think about taking all the antidotes from Ouyang Shanshan at one time, because I only give her 20 pills at a time. If you take them away, there will be no more." I don't dare. I definitely don't dare." Lu Huaqiang did have the idea of taking all the antidotes at one time, but now he immediately dispelled it and didn't dare to think about it. The matter had been dealt with. Qin Haodong left Chen Fugue and the other four to Ouyang Shanshan and turned to leave with Nalan Wushuang. Pilu Huaqiang cried with a complicated look, "Boss, don't go." Qin Haodong frowned and asked, "Is there anything else, P?" Chapter 64. To tell you the truth, I didn't want to do it this time. Shanshan is our company's cash cow. I don't want to send her out to accompany others unless it's a last resort. What Lu Huaqiang said was true. He was also very lascivious. He had slept with a lot of actresses over the years, but he had never thought about Ouyang Shanshan. After all, there were plenty of women and he didn't want to affect his wallet because of this. Qin Haodong didn't speak, just listened quietly, knowing that he must have more. Lu Huaqiang continued, "This time, someone took a fancy to Shanshan and asked her to accompany him. I couldn't afford to offend that person, so I had to do this. If I didn't do this, the company would have to close down." Qin Haodong's face became cold and said, "You've said so much to me. Do you mean to send Ouyang Shanshan there?" No, I didn't mean that." Lu Huaqiang quickly explained. After all, the company was not as important as his life. He said, "I won't do it, but I'm afraid that person will come to take her away. I can't resist him at all." The reason why he said this was that he was afraid that if Ouyang Shanshan was taken away, he would lose his life. So lawless? Who is the person you are talking about? Qin Haodong was very curious that someone could be so overbearing in the south of the Yangtze River. Lu Huaqiang hesitated for a moment, and finally said, "He is Nalan Wufeng, the eldest young master of the Nalan family. Do you know the boss of the Nalan family? We can't afford to offend him at all." Nalan Wufeng? Qin Haodong turned to look at Nalan Wushuang with a playful face. Nalan Wushuang's face suddenly became gloomy. She used to hear that her cousin used the power of the Nalan family to do whatever he wanted. She didn't expect to see it today. This time, there was another sound of footsteps outside, and an arrogant voice cried, "I say, Lu, you haven't sent me a woman yet. Do you want to die?" As soon as the voice fell, an arrogant young man came in, followed by 7 or 8 bodyguards. It was Nalan Wufeng, the eldest young master of the Nalan family. Different from what he saw in Nalan Jie's house a few days ago, Nalan Wufeng was like a different person today, arrogant and insufferably arrogant. It seemed that he was completely pretending in front of Nalan Jie. After entering the door, he saw Ouyang Shanshan at first glance, and his eyes immediately fixed on her, automatically ignoring everyone else. Lu Huaqiang, are you King tired of living? Isn't this woman right here? She even said that she ran away. Does she not put our Nalan family in her eyes? Lu Huaqiang said with a bitter face, "Young Master Nalan, it's really not what you think." Then he looked at Qin Haodong with embarrassment. He couldn't afford to offend Nalan Wufeng, let alone this young man. "I want a woman from you, why are you looking at other people?" Nalan Wufeng glared at Lu Huaqiang, only to find that his cheeks were red and swollen, and he was in a mess. The bodyguards hiding beside him were also bruised and swollen. Then he finally felt something was wrong. He turned his head and saw Qin Haodong and Nalan Wushuang next to him. Cousin. Nalan Wufeng didn't expect to meet Nalan Wushuang here. He could ignore others, but he couldn't afford to offend this cousin. Her status in the Nalan family was much higher than his. Nalan Wushuang said with a gloomy face, "Brother Tang, you are so powerful. You even came out to steal a woman in the name of the Nalan family. It seems that I have to go to Grandpa to praise you." Don't. Nalan Wufeng trembled with fear. He was most afraid of the Nalan family's old man Nalan Jie. If his grandpa, who hated evil, knew that he was fooling around with a star outside, he would break his legs. Wushuang, in fact, I was joking with Boss Lu. There is no such thing. Then he turned to Lu Huaqiang and said, "Is that right, Boss Lu, Pina?" Lu Huaqiang didn't expect that young Master Nalan, who was so arrogant just now, would admit defeat in an instant. He was confused for a moment and didn't know what was going on. When he came to himself, he quickly nodded and said, Yes, young Master Nalan likes to joke with me." He was so happy that he didn't have to be caught in a dilemma between Nalan Wufeng and Qin Haodong. But he was curious about the background of this young man. His bodyguards were all tough, and any random woman could make Nalan Wufeng cower in seconds. Nalan Wushuang's face softened a little and she said, "Brother Tang, Shanshan is my good sister now. If I know that you have bad ideas about her, I won't spare you." No. Definitely not. I was just joking. Miss Ouyang is your good friend, so she is my sister. I will be the first to disagree with anyone who dares to bully her. Pinalin Wufeng patted his chest with a face full of righteousness. Then he turned to Lu Huaqiang and said, "Did you hear that? This is my sister's good friend. Take care of her in the future. If Miss Ouyang is wronged, I will teach you a lesson." Lu Huaqiang looked bitter and thought, why don't you be an actor with such good acting skills? Even the best actor is not as good as you. Pan now his life was in Ouyang Shanshan's hands. He would be grateful if she didn't make trouble for him. After that, Nailan Wufeng said, "Wu Shuang, I suddenly remembered that I have something urgent to do. I have to go." After that, he left with his bodyguards as if he was fleeing. Lu Huaqiang breathed a sigh of relief. Finally it was over. It seemed that even Nailan Wufeng would not dare to make trouble for him in the future. At the same time, his resentment towards Qin Haodong disappeared. He could not afford to offend such a young man who could order Miss Nailan at will. After everything was done, Nailan Wushuang took Qin Haodong to the martial arts school. Nailan Wushuang said the school occupied a large area. The office building, staff dormitory, training ground and training equipment were all ready-made. It was perfect for a security company. Seeing that Qin Haodong was also satisfied, Nailan Wushuang signed a sales contract with the person in charge of the martial arts school. From then on, it belonged to Daddy's security company. After a busy day, he drove to the kindergarten to pick up the little fellow from school in the evening. After picking up the little fellow, Qin Haodong was about to leave. Teacher Wang Jiani said, "Mr. Qin, please wait a moment. I have something to tell you." "Oh, what's the matter?" Qin Haodong looked at Wang Jiani. Not only was this girl beautiful, but she also gave people a very quiet feeling. Wang Jiani said, "Here's the thing. Jiangnan City is holding a singing competition for babies with golden voices. I think Tang Tang is good at singing. She can participate in it. No matter what the final result is, it will be very good for the growth of children." The little fellow also put her arms around Qin Haodong's neck and said, "Papa, I want to sing and participate in the competition." Qin Haodong said, "Okay, I'll sign up for her." From the bottom of his heart, he really wanted the little fellow to participate in more activities and grow up happily. "Well, I'll sign up for her later. On Sunday morning, that is, the day after tomorrow, you can take her to the Jiangnan Art Museum to participate in the competition at 9 o'clock. I'll be there then." Qin Haodong calculated and found that time flew. In the blink of an eye, it was Friday again. He said goodbye to Wang Jiani and walked out of the kindergarten with the little fellow. As soon as he walked out of the door, he saw Lin Momo coming. Mama, I'm going to participate in the singing competition." The little fellow cried out happily. Qin Haodong told Lin Momo about the little fellow's registration for the singing competition. Lin Momo said, "It's good to participate in more activities and I support it. But the group doesn't rest this weekend, so I can't take her to the competition." "It doesn't matter. You do your thing. I'll take her." Qin Haodong asked again, "What's up recently? Why are you so busy that you don't even rest on the weekend?" Nominally, he was an employee of Lin's group, but he had only worked half a day so he didn't know the situation of the group. Lin Momo got in the car with the little fellow in her arms and then said to Qin Haodong, "The core industry of Lin's group is in jewelry. Recently, I've started to organize a large raw jade gemstone exhibition. Today is the first day of the exhibition and it just started in the morning. This raw jade gemstone exhibition is the biggest event I've organized since I became the president. It's very important for me, so I must do my best." Qin Haodong said, "Oh. Well, you do your thing and I'll take care of the little fellow." The next day, although it was Saturday, Lin Momo still went to work as usual. Since the group didn't rest, Qin Haodong was now nominally an employee of the group. Naturally, he couldn't rest at home, so he went with them. "Papa, Mama, I want to go to work with you too." The little fellow jumped and shouted. Qin Haodong said, "It's adults' business to go to work. You're still a child. Play with Damao and Ermao at home." There were several nannies at home, so he didn't worry that the little fellow would be alone. The little fellow pouted and said nothing, because Lin Momo never took her to work in the past. Unexpectedly, Lin Momo said uncharacteristically, "Take Tang Tang with you? Aren't you very busy?" Qin Haodong asked in surprise. Don't I have you?" But I'm also very busy." According to Qin Haodong's guess, there would be a lot of patients after work today. Take me with you. You'll be busier without me." Lin Momo said meaningfully. "Na?" Qin Haodong didn't react for a while, not knowing what it meant. Great Papa, I want to go to work with you too." The little fellow cried, holding his thigh. Ping well let's go together. Qin Haodong was a little reluctant to leave the little fellow at home. Since Lin Momo had no objection, he took her with him. When they arrived at the Lin's group building, Qin Haodong separated from Lin Momo and took the little fellow to the infirmary. As soon as he entered the door, Zhang Jijia shouted, "Ancestor, you're here. If you didn't come, the door of our infirmary would be broken by those women." Then he suddenly saw the little fellow in Qin Haodong's arms and asked in surprise, "Brother, where did you steal such a lovely child?" "Uncle, I didn't steal her. This is my papa." The little fellow said discontentedly. Is this really your daughter?" Zhang Jijia looked at Qin Haodong incredulously. Of course it's true." Qin Haodong didn't bother to explain the little fellow's question, so he agreed directly. He glanced at his desk, which was filled with all kinds of snacks, flowers and plants. He asked in surprise, "Brother Zhang, what's going on? Where did so many things come from?" "You're right. The beauties in the company have been crazy these days. They come here every day to find you, sending flowers and food. Only a part of them is on the desk and I stuffed many of them into the cabinet. Otherwise I couldn't put them all." Qin Haodong smiled. There was such a thing. Since there were people sending food, he would let the little fellow take advantage of it. He sat at the desk with Tang Tang in his arms and began to attack the snacks on the table. Just then a woman at the door asked, "Is Dr. Qin here?" Chapter 65. It was a young woman in her 20s who came in. She was good-looking and had a particularly hot figure. It could be seen that she had dressed up carefully today. She was wearing a low-cut t-shirt and tight jeans. She looked very sexy and her cleavage was bottomless. After seeing this woman, Zhang Jijia couldn't help but push up the glasses on the bridge, and fiercely swallowed a mouthful of saliva. "Oh, what's wrong with you?" Qin Haodong asked. The woman had a coquettish face when she came in, but when she saw the little fellow in Qin Haodong's arms, she was shocked. She didn't answer Qin Haodong's question but asked, "Dr. Qin, who is this child?" My name is Tang Tang and this is my father." The little fellow said in a childish voice while tearing a bag of beef jerky. Qin Haodong said, "Although I have a child with me, I can still diagnose you if you feel uncomfortable. It's okay. I suddenly feel better." Then the woman turned around and left, leaving Qin Haodong with a confused face. Then some women came to the infirmary one after another, but when they saw Qin Haodong holding the child, they immediately left. Although some did come for treatment, there were not many such people. Qin Haodong had a leisurely time the whole morning. Only then did he understand Lin Momo's intention. She deserved to be the president. Her tricks were so profound. She only used a little fellow to cut off many women's thoughts about him. At noon, when Qin Haodong walked into the canteen with the little fellow, the situation last time did not happen again. He and Zhang Jijia had a peaceful meal. After lunch, he took the little fellow to Lin Momo's office. Before they talked for a few words, the door was opened and Nbairu ran in, panting. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. Nbairu was Lin Momo's assistant. She had always been calm. He had never seen her so flustered. "Mizen, what's wrong?" Lin Momo frowned slightly. The raw jade gemstone exhibition was extremely important to her, so she specially arranged for Nbairu to keep an eye on the venue. Why did she suddenly come back? President Lin? "Oh no. Something has happened." Nbairu said while gasping for breath. What happened?" Our raw jade gemstone exhibition just opened yesterday. Today the Fongs held another raw jade gemstone exhibition opposite us. Lin Momo's face darkened. For this raw gemstone exhibition, Lin's group had invested a lot of money and material resources to advertise all over Wuxia. Now that the effect was good, jade merchants and stone gambling enthusiasts from all over the country flocked to it. But the Feng family held a raw gemstone exhibition on the opposite side, which meant that Lin's group spent money to help them advertise, which was totally an act of picking peaches. The most important thing was that Feng's group had always been the biggest competitor of Lin's group in the jade market. Now another raw gemstone exhibition was held opposite them, which was obviously against them. Nbairu continued, "The worst thing is that the scale of the Feng's group's raw gemstone exhibition this time is not smaller than ours. Moreover, all their stones are of the old type in Burma, so the quality of the raw gemstones is better than ours." What? That's impossible. Lin Momo suddenly stood up and said angrily, "When we went to buy the old type of raw gemstone, didn't the Jade State say that they would not sell it to Wuxia this year? Why didn't they sell it to our Lin family, but to the Feng family?" Pan Bairu also said with annoyance, I don't know. Anyway, now the guests have gone to the Feng family. If it goes on like this, we won't even be able to recover the cost after the exhibition is finished in half a month. P, let's go and have a look. P. Then Lin Momo hurried out, followed by An Bairu. Qin Haodong thought about it and followed her with the little fellow in his arms. It seemed that his woman was in trouble, so he had to help her. P. After getting in the car, Lin Momo asked, Why are you here? P. Qin Haodong said, I'm going with you to have a look. I haven't seen what a raw jade gemstone looks like. P. Yes. Tang Tang, I want to see it too. The little fellow followed. P. Lin Momo's heart was heavy and she didn't say anything. P. Qin Haodong asked, I just heard you mention the Jade Gang. What's going on? P. Lin Momo said, the raw jade gemstone is only produced in Burma, and the quality of the old ones is the best. Although there are raw gemstones in other places, the quality is much worse. P. The export of raw jade gemstones in Burma is completely controlled by the Jade Gang. As a big company specializing in jade, Lin's group has to deal with the Jade Gang. They have been getting along well over the years. P. But at the beginning of this year, Lin's group proposed to the Jade Gang to import a batch of raw gemstones from the old ones, but the Jade Gang did not agree. They said that they were not going to export raw gemstones from the old ones to Wuxia this year. P. We have no choice. The raw gemstones we bought are from other places, and the quality is naturally not as good as the ones from the old ones. P. Now the raw gemstones that Feng's group took out for the exhibition are all from the old ones, which is better than those of Lin's group. This shows that the Feng family must be behind it. Pan Bairu also said angrily, it must be so. The Feng family must have used some way to get through the relationship with the Jade Gang and set us up. P. While talking, the motorcade arrived at the site of the raw gemstone exhibition. This was the Jiangnan Convention and Exhibition Center, which was specially prepared for major companies to hold exhibitions. P. After getting off the car, Qin Haodong saw that the site was full of all kinds of raw jade gemstones. These raw gemstones looked no different from ordinary stones on the surface, but he could clearly feel the difference. P. Cultivators are most sensitive to spiritual qi. As the Emperor Greenwood, Qin Haodong's spirit is strong. He knows which raw gemstones have abundant spiritual qi and which ones have no spiritual qi. P. Boss Lin, look, that's the raw gemstone exhibition held by the Feng family. Pan Bairu pointed to the exhibition area opposite and said. P. Qin Haodong followed her finger and saw a large number of raw gemstones piled up on the opposite side. It seemed that the scale was no smaller than here, but the spiritual qi emitted by the raw gemstones over there was obviously richer than here. P. What's going on? Is it possible that the better the quality of the raw gemstones, the more abundant the spiritual qi? Does that mean that raw gemstones with spiritual qi contain jade? The more abundant the spiritual qi, the better the quality of the jade? Pilin Momo was completely different from Qin Haodong. What she saw was that the Feng family's exhibition area was crowded, while her own was deserted. If it went on like this, the exhibition would really lose a lot. P. Boss Lin, what should we do? An Bairu asked. Pilin Momo frowned and was at a loss. Those who came to the raw gemstone exhibition were all experts. The quality of the raw gemstones could be seen at a glance. Her stones were not as good as those of the old pit type. It was too difficult to pull people over. P. Qin Haodong didn't seem to see Lin Momo's mood. He pointed to the raw jade gemstone and asked, is there really jade in this thing? P. Lin Momo sighed and said patiently, there may be jade in the raw jade gemstone, but there is a chance. The reason why the old pit type of raw jade gemstone is famous is that it has a high rate of producing jade. P. Is there any way to see through these stones and see which ones have jade and which ones don't? P. Lin Momo said, it's impossible. With all the current technological means of human beings, it's impossible to see through the raw jade gemstone. Otherwise, there would be no stone gambling. P. We hold this raw gemstone exhibition to let customers come here to bet on which raw gemstone has jade and which one doesn't. As the saying goes, one cut into the poor, one cut into the rich, one cut into the heaven, one cut into the hell. This is the industry of stone gambling. Pan Bairu added, some experts in stone gambling can make some inferences according to the external performance of the raw gemstone. Although it is not 100% accurate, it is much better than gambling by luck. P. Qin Haodong said, oh, I've always been lucky. How about trying it? P. He wanted to see if his inference was correct. If the concentration of spiritual qi was directly related to the quality of the jade, it was not much different from seeing through it. P. Lin Momo said, whatever. Anyway, they are all stones of our group. You can ask the stone cutting master next to you to see which one is good. Qin Haodong chose a raw jade gemstone priced at 2,000 yuan and sent it to the stone-cutting master. Because there were no customers, the stone-cutting master was idle and bored. At this time, seeing that there was business, he cut the stone quickly, but there was nothing in it. The 2,000 yuan became a pile of waste stones. Young man, you lost. The stone-cutting master said. They didn't care about this situation. Not to mention the 2,000 yuan stone, even the 20 million yuan stone could be lost. Qin Haodong was not frustrated at all. As he thought, there was no spiritual qi in this stone, so there was no jade in it. He chose another raw jade gemstone with weak spiritual qi. After cutting it again, there was a green jade the size of an egg, and the quality was not very good. Pevin So and Bairu said, Dr. Qin, you are really lucky. You won 1 out of 2. This stone is worth it. Qin Haodong had just seen that the price of this raw stone was 20,000 yuan, which meant that such an ordinary jade the size of an egg could be sold for more than 20,000 yuan. It seemed that this thing was really valuable. This is just the beginning. My luck will definitely get better and better. While speaking, he chose a raw stone with abundant spiritual qi and sent it to the stone-cutting master. Master, be careful. I think there must be jade in this stone. Don't worry, young man. I'm very accurate. The stone-cutting master was really experienced. Soon, he polished a small window on one side of the stone with a grinding wheel. He carefully observed it while rubbing it. Suddenly, his expression changed and he became more careful. Soon, he stopped the machine in his hand, grabbed a rag, wiped the stone powder on the raw stone, and then poured some water on it. Then he saw a thick green color on the window of the raw stone, like a pool of autumn water, which looked very pure. There is green. There is really green. And Bairu cried in surprise. Lin Momo was also surprised. After so many years of doing the jade business, she was naturally an expert. The green color of this raw stone was very good, which was close to the ice type. As long as he could take out a piece of the size of an egg, it would definitely be worth more than 1 million yuan. The stone-cutting master said, Young man, now your stone has risen. Do you want to continue? Qin Haodong had achieved his goal. The fact proved that his speculation was correct. The richer the spiritual qi of the raw stone, the higher the quality of the jade inside. He waved his hand indifferently and said, I don't care. I just want to try my luck. This raw stone belongs to President Lin. She can do whatever she wants. Chapter 66. Lin Momo didn't stand on ceremony with Qin Haodong. She said to Bairu, send this stone to the half-gambling area. It can improve our popularity. The raw gemstones here were not of the old pit type, so the jade rate was relatively low. The half-gambling stone of the ice type was the most precious. Bairu called 2 workers and directed them to send the raw jade stone to the half-gambling area. The little fellow also ran over there to play. Qin Haodong took Lin Momo to a place where no one was around and whispered, I can help you. What do you mean? Lin Momo was a little confused. She didn't know what Qin Haodong was trying to say. I can help you defeat the Feng's group and win this exhibition. Are you kidding? How is that possible? Their raw gemstones are of the old pit type, and the quality is much better than ours. Lin Momo didn't believe it at all. She really couldn't think of any way that Qin Haodong could help her. Qin Haodong said seriously, Of course I'm not kidding. As long as you can trust me, I can help you. Seeing Qin Haodong's serious face, Lin Momo knew he was serious. She said, I believe you. Tell me, how can you help me? Don't ask how, but I need a lot of money. How much money do you have? A little more than 100 million. Lin Momo asked, Why do you want to use my money? It's for the group. I can use the funds of the Lin's group. Qin Haodong's idea was very simple. He went to the Feng's group's exhibition and bought all the raw gemstones with high concentration of spiritual qi. In this way he could not only attack the Feng's group, but also make a lot of money. But he also knew that Lin Momo was only the executive president of the Lin's group, and she didn't have many shares. Such a good thing should naturally be given to his woman. He couldn't let the people of the Lin's group take advantage of it. You don't have to ask about that. If you trust me, then give me your 100 million. I will definitely give you a surprise. Well, all my money is in this card. The password is Tang Tang's birthday. Lin Momo took out a bank card without hesitation. Her life was saved by Qin Haodong, so she didn't care about money. Qin Haodong took the card and said with a smile, Don't worry, you won't be disappointed. Although she was curious, she chose to believe Qin Haodong, so she didn't ask more. Pit was close to evening, which was also the busiest time of the raw gemstone exhibition. It was midsummer and the weather in Jiangnan was too hot. Many people liked to go out at night and buy some raw gemstones to try their luck. Among the crowd, a young man was particularly eye-catching. Not only was he accompanied by an extremely beautiful woman, but he was also carrying a chubby little girl in his arms. There were also two snowball-like white puppies running at his feet. This person was Qin Haodong. In the afternoon he returned to Daddy's security company and cleaned up a large warehouse. In the evening he took the little fellow Damao and Ermao to the raw gemstone market. Nalan Wushuang also came with him when she got the news. Qin Haodong first walked around the entire raw gemstone market and found that the marketing method here was basically the same as that of Lin Momo. The entire raw gemstone market was divided into 4 areas. A, B, C, and D. Among them, the raw jade stones in Area A were the most valuable, and the price was generally more than 1 million yuan. The price of raw jade stones in Area B was between 100,000 yuan and 1 million yuan. The price of raw jade stones in Area C was between 10,000 yuan and 100,000 yuan. The last one in Area D was cheap, and the price was less than 10,000 yuan, ranging from hundreds to thousands of yuan. He calculated that with Lin Momo's capital of 100 million yuan, it was enough to buy all the raw gemstones here that had more than doubled. Just as he was thinking, a middle-aged man with gold-rimmed glasses came over. He looked at Damao and Ermao at Qin Haodong's feet with great fondness, and then said, "Little brother, do you sell these 2 dogs?" The little fellow had now regarded Damao and Ermao as her companions. When she heard that someone wanted to buy them, she quickly said, No. Damao and Ermao are my dogs. I'm not selling them." Damao and Ermao seemed to feel the intention of the middle-aged man. They looked at him with hostility and roared with dissatisfaction. The middle-aged man smiled at the little fellow and said, "Little cutie, these 2 dogs can be exchanged for a lot of money. You can buy a lot of things you like." Then he turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Little brother, I'm Chen Duo. I have 2 hobbies in my life. The first is jade jewelry and the second is dogs, especially pure Tibetan Mastiffs. Pai can see that these 2 dogs are extremely rare purebred snow mastiffs. I won't treat you badly. 5 million yuan for 1 and 10 million yuan for 2. How about that?" As soon as he said that, it immediately attracted the attention of the people around him. Originally, everyone thought that Damao and Ermao were just 2 pet dogs. They didn't expect that they were worth so much money. They immediately gathered around. The little fellow was a little anxious. She hugged Qin Haodong's neck and cried, "Papa, don't sell Damao and Ermao. They are my friends." "Don't worry, Papa won't sell them." Qin Haodong smiled at Chen Duo and said, "Mr. Chen, as you can see, my daughter doesn't agree. I won't sell these 2 dogs." Chen Duo was not discouraged. He said, "Little brother, I really like these 2 dogs. 10 million yuan for each dog. Is that okay?" After he said that, there was a commotion among the onlookers. It should be known that 20 million yuan could allow ordinary people to live a carefree life, and they were very rich. Young man, sell them. These 2 dogs of yours are only worth this much. Yes, young man, 10 million yuan for 1 and 20 million for 2. The price is not low at all. Qin Haodong was not moved at all. On the one hand, he would not sell what his daughter liked no matter how much money he paid. On the other hand, now the 2 little snow mastiffs had been cleaned by him. They were not ordinary Tibetan mastiffs. It was not an exaggeration to say that they were strange beasts. They could not be measured by money at all. Sorry, not for sale." Qin Haodong was about to leave with Damao and Ermao. Chen Duo said again, "Little brother, 30 million yuan for 2. Qin Haodong looked back at him and smiled. "Mr. Chen, even if you pay me 300 million yuan, I won't sell them." Seeing that the young man really did not intend to sell the dogs, Chen Duo looked disappointed. He took out a business card from his pocket and gave it to Qin Haodong. "Little brother, let's be friends. If you have the idea of selling dogs in the future, you must think of contacting me as soon as possible." Although Qin Haodong did not want to sell Damao and Ermao, he took the business card out of politeness and glanced at it. It said, "President of Jiangnan Jade Association, Chief Jewelry Appraiser of Wuxia, Chen Duo." After the interlude, Qin Haodong began to buy raw jade gemstones. He began to buy all the raw jade gemstones that could double the value of the gambling. Before coming, he had made sufficient preparations. After paying, someone immediately loaded the raw stones and took them away to the warehouse of Daddy's security company. While buying and walking, Qin Haodong had soon bought all the high-quality raw jade stones in the three areas A, B, and C. He was different from others in buying raw stones. He knew at a glance which one had enough spiritual qi, so there was no need to choose at all. He just wrote down the number and bought it. This kind of buying method, which was like choosing cabbages, immediately attracted the attention of everyone present. Everyone noticed that the young man in ordinary clothes was so generous. In the blink of an eye, he had spent almost 70 or 80 million yuan. No wonder he was not tempted just now when there was an extra 30 million yuan. Similarly, he also attracted the attention of the organizers of the raw gemstone exhibition. However, most of the raw stones selected did not look good, so no one cared. They just thought that this young man was the kind of rich second generation who burned money. Soon, Qin Haodong came to the D area. He was recording the number of the raw stone he liked. Suddenly he heard two heart-wrenching screams. He turned his head and saw two bodyguards in black suits covering their bloody wrists and looking at Damao and Ermao in horror. Damao and Ermao grew very fast. Now they were almost knee-high. They were looking at the two people angrily and growling from time to time. Damao and Ermao, come back. Qin Haodong called the two snow mastiffs back. He was slightly surprised. These two little things were quite intelligent and generally would not attack people. Whose dog is it? How can it bite? The two bodyguards in black roared. In order to make it convenient for Qin Haodong to record the original number, Nalan Wushuang took the initiative to hold Tang Tang. At this time, the little fellow cried in her arms, "Papa," they wanted to catch the dog, so the dog bit them. Qin Haodong knew that things were very clear. It must be these two people who saw the value of Damao and Ermao and wanted to take them away secretly. He took 2 steps forward and said to the two bodyguards, "Tell me, why did you catch my dog?" I asked them to catch it. An arrogant voice rang out from outside the crowd. Following that, an extremely arrogant woman walked in. If Nalan Wushuang was as beautiful as a fairy with no flaws, then this woman was the opposite of her. She was so ugly that she couldn't be uglier. She was 1.5 meters tall and weighed 160 or 170 kilograms. Her face was like a pancake and covered with freckles. All in all, if there was a negative value in appearance, it was the most suitable for her. Although the woman was extremely ugly, she was very arrogant. She came to Qin Haodong and said arrogantly, "I like these 2 dogs. Tell me, how much do you want?" Qin Haodong glanced at her and didn't want to look at her again. He really didn't want to talk to such an ugly woman. He said coldly, "Not for sale." The ugly woman's face turned cold and she cried, "Boy, I Zhou Zisui have taken a fancy to the dogs. It's already a great honor for me to give you money. Don't be ungrateful." Zhou Zisui, this woman turns out to be Zhou Zuizui. Who is Zhou Zuizui? Is she famous? You may not know Zhou Zuizui, but you must have heard of her brother, Zhou Qianhu, the leader of the Jade Gang in Burma. Damn, then this young man is in trouble. No one can afford to offend Zhou Qianhu's sister. Hearing the discussion of the people around, Zhou Zuizui looked proud. She was used to being arrogant because of the Jade Gang. She cried, 1,000 yuan for the 2 dogs. They are mine. Qin Haodong also heard the discussion of the people around him clearly. No wonder this woman was so arrogant. It turned out that she was the sister of the leader of the Jade Gang. But in his eyes, she was still worthless. He glanced at Zhou Zuizui and said with a playful smile, "It's not your fault that you are ugly, but it's wrong to come out and scare people. It's not good if my dogs are scared and bite you." As soon as he finished speaking, Damao and Ermao seemed to be really scared by Zhou Zuizui. They suddenly rushed over. The 2 bodyguards in black wanted to stop them, but Damao and Ermao were very flexible. They went around them and bit Zhou Zuizui. The 2 snow mastiffs were very intelligent. They didn't hurt people but tore Zhou Zuizui's pants into pieces, leaving only a pair of underwear. Bastard, wait and see. I won't forgive you. Zhou Chui screamed and ran away. Her 2 bodyguards also hurriedly chased after her. Chapter 67. After that, Qin Haodong continued to collect high-quality raw jade gemstones in Zone D. The price of raw stones in Area D was the lowest, but compared to the other 3 areas, the quantity was also the highest. And because of the low price, the chance of winning was also very high. Qin Haodong had just walked halfway, and he had almost collected enough raw stones to fill the cart. He paid according to the order number and transported the raw stones away. When he was about to continue to choose, a loud noise came, and a large group of bodyguards rushed over and surrounded them. The leader was Feng Tianda, the young master of Feng's group, and Zhou Cuizue, who had just changed clothes, followed him. Darling, who bullied you? Today, I'm going to beat him until even his mother can't recognize him. Feng Tianda said arrogantly. Qin Haodong then understood why Feng's group had established a relationship with the Jade Gang. It turned out that Feng Tianda had found such an ugly woman to be the brother-in-law of the leader of the Jade Gang. Looking at the handsome Feng Tianda and the ugly Zhou Cuizue, he couldn't help shaking his head secretly. It seemed that as a member of a big family, no matter man or woman, he couldn't control his own marriage. Everything was based on interest. Zhou Cuizue pointed to Qin Haodong and cried, Tianda, this is the toy boy who bullied me. You must take his 2 dogs for me. Qin Haodong frowned slightly. It seemed that this woman was so arrogant that she wanted to rob Damao and Ermao openly. Don't worry, it's just 2 dogs. I'll definitely bring it to you. There's nothing in Jiangnan that our Feng family can't do. Feng Tianda saw Qin Haodong as soon as he finished speaking. He gritted his teeth and said, Boy, it's you? Last time he was humiliated at the gate of Lin's group. Not only was he severely taught a lesson by Qin Haodong, but he was also taken to the traffic police station by Nalan Wuxia for a day. After coming out, he angrily agreed to the proposal of the leader of the Jade Gang and confirmed his relationship with Zhou Cuizue. He wanted to use the power of the Jade Gang to suppress Lin's group. Zhou Qin, who finally found a man for his ugly sister. He was so happy that he helped the Fengs with a large number of raw jade gemstones from the old pit. He held the raw gemstone exhibition opposite Lin's group. Qin Haodong smiled and said, It's me, Mr. Feng. We are really fated. Kid, you're the one who delivered yourself to me. Feng Tianda waved his hand and shouted to the bodyguards behind him, Do it. Leave the 2 dogs. Break the limbs of the man and throw the woman out. Although he knew that Qin Haodong was very good at martial arts, this was his territory and he had bodyguards. He would be able to control the situation. As soon as he finished speaking, he heard a cold voice saying, Feng Tianda, who do you want to throw out? Nalan Wushuang was holding the little fellow. Feng Tianda hadn't seen her face clearly. Now he saw that she was the eldest daughter of the Nalan family. Nah. Miss Nalan, when did you come? Feng Tianda quickly raised his hand to stop the bodyguard who was about to pounce on him. He didn't have the guts to do anything to Nalan Wushuang. Although the Feng's group was powerful, it could not be compared with the Nalan family. Otherwise, it would not have been defeated by Nalan Wuxia. But he didn't understand why the 2 princesses of the Nalan family had such a good relationship with this toy boy. First, Nalan Wuxia protected Qin Haodong, and now Nalan Wushuang also stood with him, holding a child in her arms. What was going on? Zhou Cuizue saw that he stopped and looked at the beautiful woman in front of her eagerly. She was very dissatisfied and cried, Tianda, why don't you do it? Hurry up and get the 2 dogs for me. Feng Tianda complained in his heart. He took Zhou Cuizue a few steps to the side and whispered, Honey, this is the eldest daughter of the Nalan family in Jiangnan. We can't afford to offend her. Zhou Cuizue didn't buy it at all. She cried rudely, I don't care about the Nalan family or the Hong family. Anyway, I want the 2 dogs. Didn't you just say that there is nothing your Feng family can't do in Jiangnan? My lady, it's just 2 dogs. You wait, I'll find a way to get them for you. Feng Tianda was very depressed. He had to please Zhou Cuizue for the sake of the Feng family, and the eldest daughter of the Nalan family was standing there. He couldn't afford to offend her in any case. If he still wanted the 2 dogs in this situation, he had to think of other ways. He went back to Qin Haodong and said with a sullen face, Boy, sell your 2 dogs to me and we'll forget about the past. Not for sale. Qin Haodong answered without hesitation. You. Feng Tianda wanted to get angry, but he held it back when he saw Nalan Wushuang next to him. Suddenly he thought of something and said, Boy, you're here to buy stones, aren't you? Qin Haodong nodded and looked at Feng Tianda quietly, wanting to see what he was up to. So, you also have research on raw jade stones? Not research, but I know a little. Feng Tianda said, Do you dare to bet? What do you want to bet? Qin Haodong looked at him with interest. Let's each choose a stone here. Whoever has a better stone and a higher price wins. If I win, give me your 2 dogs. If I lose, I'll give you 10 million yuan. After that, Feng Tianda looked at Qin Haodong nervously. As the young master of Feng's group, he had been dealing with raw jade stones since he was a child. He thought he had a much better vision than others. What he was most afraid of now was that Qin Haodong would not agree. If he couldn't get the 2 dogs, it would inevitably make Zhou Cuizue unhappy. But okay. Qin Haodong said, but your bet is too low. Someone just bid 30 million for my 2 dogs. 30 million is fine as long as you dare to bet. Feng Tianda raised the bet without hesitation. In his opinion he could win the bet 100%. Qin Haodong said again, but since it's a bet, my 2 dogs are here and you have to take out the bet. And since it's a bet, you have to find a referee and a notary. Otherwise, what if you get a broken stone and say it's worth more than mine? Boy, I'm the young master of the Feng family. Will I go back on my word? That's hard to say. Qin Haodong laughed. People like Feng Tianda only had interests in their eyes, and there was no quality to talk about. I'll be a notary. I don't know if you two can trust me. Everyone followed the voice and saw that it was Chen Duo who had just bid 30 million to buy Damao and Ermao. He was the president of the Jiangnan Jade Association and also the chief jewelry appraiser of Wuxia. He had a good reputation in the industry, so he was the most suitable person to be the referee. President Chen, you're here. Feng Tianda said with a flattering face, the former president will be our referee. Of course I can trust him. Chen Duo turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, little brother, what do you think? Qin Haodong also had a good impression of Chen Duo. He said, I also trust Mr. Chen. Chen Duo said, well, let me be the notary of this bet. Feng Tianda took out the checkbook, wrote a check for 30 million yuan and handed it to Chen Duo. Qin Haodong also let Damao and Ermao lie down. Everything was ready. Feng Tianda said, can we bet now? Of course, but I don't need to do anything to beat you. When everyone was confused, Qin Haodong said to Chen Duo, Mr. Chen, I'll borrow a dog to choose a stone first. It's not against the rules, is it? Yes. Chen Duo said and then looked at the young man with interest. He had been in the jade industry for so many years, but he had never heard of anyone using a dog to choose raw stones. Although a dog's nose was naturally sensitive, it didn't seem to work for things like stones. After getting permission, Qin Haodong pointed to Damao and said, go and choose a stone for me. You. Feng Tianda was so angry that his eyes were full of fire. He didn't expect that Qin Haodong would use a dog to compare with him. But he had no choice. After all, there were no restrictions on stone gambling. Naturally, he couldn't restrict others from using dogs. He glared at Qin Haodong and then went to choose stones. At this time, more and more people gathered to watch the fun. These people who came to participate in stone gambling were very interested in gambling. At the same time, they wanted to see how the young man would use a dog to choose raw stones. In fact, Qin Haodong asked Damao to choose stones was a cover-up to divert others' attention. He didn't want others to know that he had the ability to see through the raw stones. After Damao went out, he followed Qin Haodong's instructions completely. Soon he ran to a raw stone of 200 or 300 kilograms, then he jumped on it and turned back to bark a few times. Seeing that this puppy was so psychic, everyone was very interested. Could this dog really choose a good raw stone? Qin Haodong said to Chen Duo, Mr. Chen, since Damao likes this stone, I will choose it. The price of the stone was 5,000 yuan. After that, he paid the staff of the stone yard and bought the stone. After receiving the money, the staff immediately asked someone to push the raw stone over with a cart. Over there, Feng Tianda was carefully selecting stones one by one. According to his experience from primary school, he carefully looked at the color and pattern of the raw stones and carefully selected them. After a full 20 minutes, he finally chose a raw stone and asked the staff to push it out. After the 2 raw stones were placed, Feng Tianda called 2 stone-cutting masters and began to cut them on the spot. Who's first? Chen Duo asked. I'll go first. Feng Tianda was full of confidence. He was confident in his ability to choose raw stones. At the same time, he didn't think that the raw stone chosen by a dog would be better than his. After receiving the order, the stone-cutting master began to cut Feng Tianda's stone. With the roar of the cutting machine, the raw stone chips splashed and soon a touch of green came out. There is really green. He deserves to be the young master of Feng's group. He really has a good eye, the quality is good. It looks like the green bean type. It seems that this raw stone can be worth more than 1 million yuan. Young Master Feng is really amazing. Amidst the praises, Feng Tianda raised his chin complacently and glanced at the black stone under Qin Haodong's feet. His face was full of disdain. In his opinion, he had already won the bet. In less than 10 minutes, his stone was cut. The stone-cutting master poured a basin of water, and a green jade the size of an apple appeared in front of everyone. Chen Duo reached out to pick up the jade and looked at it. He nodded and said, Good, the waterhead has reached the green bean type. The price should reach 1.2 million. Seeing Qian Duo made the value evaluation, a jade merchant immediately cried, "Young Master Feng, I'll pay 1.2 million for it." Not for sale. Feng's group had its own jewelry company. Feng Tianda naturally would not sell this good quality jade. Seeing her boyfriend cut out such a good jade, Zhou Cuizui also looked proud. She turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, "Toy boy, it's your turn." The onlookers also looked at Qin Haodong together. In their opinion, the young man's chance of winning was very small. Chapter 68. Zhou Cuizui's words focused everyone's eyes on Qin Haodong's raw stone. Many experts couldn't help but frown. This raw stone is too bad. It has no cracks, no ringworm, and no python pattern. How can there be jade? That's right. This young man even used a dog to choose the raw stone. It's too sloppy. It seems that Feng Daxiao will win. It's a pity that the 2 dogs worth 30 million yuan are already his. Hearing the discussion of the people around him, Feng Tianda became more and more proud. He said to Qin Haodong sarcastically, "Is it necessary to cut this black stone of yours? I think you should just admit defeat so that you won't make a fool of yourself after cutting it." Qin Haodong laughed and said, "Of course, I always think that my dog is better than you." Then he said to the stone-cutting master, "Let's start, but remember to rub it slowly. Maybe there is treasure in this stone." The stone-cutting master nodded. Although he was not optimistic about this stone and thought it was not necessary to rub it, he could only do as the guest asked. With the sound of the saw blade, gravel splashed and a touch of green slowly appeared. There is green. Oh my god, such a stone has green. Although there is green, it can't be compared with Feng Daxiao's green pea jade. No, it looks like ice jade to me. The green is so beautiful. Ice jade. It's really ice jade. This young man, no, this dog's luck is really too good. The onlookers all opened their mouths wide. They squeezed to the front and stared at the stone. Feng Tianda's face became very gloomy. He had just cut out a green pea jade, and before he finished being happy, the other side had gotten ice jade. Zhou Cuizui said with jealousy, "Don't be afraid, Tianda. I've seen this kind of jade. It may be a little bit and there is nothing below. It's not as valuable as yours." Feng Tianda nodded and felt a little relieved. He also thought that Qin Haodong should not have such good luck. But as time went by, he slowly became dumbfounded. After all the stone was removed, there was an ice jade the size of a volleyball. Not only was it better than his, but it was also bigger. Qian Duo also widened his eyes. Although he had been in the jade industry for so many years, it was rare to see such a high-quality ice jade, let alone such a big piece. He held the jade in his hand and slowly observed it for a long time. Then he shouted excitedly, "Rare, it's really rare. I haven't seen such a good jade in a long time." He turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Young man, if you're willing to part with it, I'll buy it for 10 million yuan. Well, I'll sell it." Qin Haodong said. Recently he was indeed a little short of money. In the future he would still need a lot of money to buy medicinal herbs, so he directly chose to sell the jade. After the two of them reached an agreement, the expressions of the onlookers changed. This young man's luck was really good. A stone that he had just bought for 5,000 yuan was sold for 10 million in the blink of an eye. More than that, it also meant that he won the bet with Feng Tianda, and the 30 million check was also his. Sure enough, Qian Duo officially announced that Qin Haodong had won the bet. After writing a check worth 10 million yuan, he gave it to Qin Haodong together with Feng Tianda's 30 million yuan. "Papa, you're awesome." The little fellow cried happily. Although she didn't know what a check was, she also knew that her father had won, and she didn't have to give her dog away. Then she pointed to Feng Tianda and said to Nalan Wushuang, "Second mom, that man is really stupid. He's a big fool." Feng Tianda was so angry that he could only stare, but there was nothing he could do. He couldn't argue with such a little child. He lost 30 million yuan in the blink of an eye. Although the Feng family was big, it was enough to make him feel pain for a while. However, the notary was Qian Duo, the president of the Jade Association, and there was a young lady of the Nalan family standing next to him. He didn't have the guts to renege on the debt even if he wanted to. "You lost like this. What a waste." Seeing that Feng Tianda lost the bet, Zhou Cuizui immediately turned hostile. "I don't care. You have to get me those 2 dogs anyway, or I'll ask my brother to stop the supply of raw stones to your Feng family." This, In the face of such an unreasonable woman, Feng Tianda really wanted to go up and slap her, but he could only swallow the impulse when he thought of Zhou Qianhu, the leader of the Jade Gang. He had lost the bet and Zhou Tsuetsue was still chasing him for the dogs. Feng Tianda had no choice but to say again, "I lost this game. Do you dare to bet again?" "Of course my papa is the best." The little fellow was now a loyal fan of Qin Haodong. In her heart, her father was an omnipotent person, so she was not afraid of the big fool in front of her. Qin Haodong naturally would not refuse this kind of bet where there was no winning or losing. He kissed the little fellow on the cheek and then said happily, "My daughter said that there's nothing I'm afraid to bet with you." Feng Tianda said, "Then let's bet again. The wager remains the same. I'll still bet 30 million on your 2 dogs, but this time I want someone else to choose the raw stones for me." "No problem." Qin Haodong simply agreed. No matter who the other party chose, it was impossible to win him. Feng Tianda called a bodyguard and ordered, "Go and get Mr. Sun here." The bodyguard answered and ran out. Qin Haodong wrote another check of 30 million and handed it to Chen Duoduo. Soon the bodyguard came over with a middle-aged man of about 50 years old. The man was wearing a robe and had an extraordinary temperament. He was Sun Dinghua, the jade appraisal master of Feng's group. Sun Dinghua had a very strong background. He had extraordinary attainments in jade and was famous in the jade and gem industry. He was poached by Feng's group with a lot of money, and he really helped Feng's family make a lot of money in recent years. "Young master, what can I do for you?" Sun Dinghua asked. After briefly explaining the situation of the bet, Feng Tianda said to him, "You bet for me." "Don't worry, young master. As long as I'm here, I'm sure I'll win." Sun Dinghua had enough confidence, and he didn't take the young man in front of him seriously. The industry of stone gambling might depend on luck once or twice, but in the end, it still depended on vision, and he happened to be a very vision person. The gambling began again, and Sun Dinghua confidently went to choose the raw stone. The onlookers all looked at Qin Haodong. Feng's family had obviously used their real strength and sent Sun Dinghua out. In their opinion, this young man should be taken seriously. But Qin Haodong waved his hand and called Ermao over. "It's your turn. Don't lose face." Ermao seemed to understand what he said, barked twice and then rushed to the raw stone. "Ermao, come on." The little fellow clenched his fist and shouted, which made the onlookers laugh. Ermao seemed to feel the little master's encouragement, and quickly chose a huge raw stone, jumped directly on it, and turned back to Qin Haodong and barked twice. "That's it." This stone was a little more expensive than the previous one, priced at 8,000 yuan. Qin Haodong paid the money and asked someone to push the stone over. Sun Dinghua over there was much faster than Feng Tianda. In less than 10 minutes he also chose a stone and pushed it over. "Who's first?" Chen Duoduo asked again. "Let's go first. I don't believe we can't beat this bumpkin." Feng Tianda shouted angrily. In his opinion, Qin Haodong could have good luck once, but there would never be a second time. Moreover, Sun Dinghua was an expert hired with a lot of money. This bet was bound to win. 2 stone cutters carried the huge raw stone to the cutting machine and began to cut it skillfully. Soon, a green light flashed and a rectangular jade appeared in front of everyone. Although this jade was not too big, about the size of a red brick, it was still very good. "What a beautiful jade. It should reach the glutinous rice type. Mr. Sun is really good. I heard that his monthly salary is 1 million yuan. It seems that he is worthy of his value. That young man must be finished. Although he cut out the glass type last time, good luck can't always be on one person. This time he will definitely lose." Sun Dinghua was still very famous in the jade industry. After he took action, everyone was not optimistic about Qin Haodong. On the one hand, Qin Haodong was too young. On the other hand, this way of using a dog to choose jade was incredible. No one could have confidence in him. Soon it was Qin Haodong's stone. Because of the last experience, although this time the stone cutters were not optimistic about this stone, they still carefully polished it. As time went by, the stone chips were flying. The stone cutters had rubbed in a lot, but still did not see the green. On the contrary, the color of the stone chips was getting darker and darker. "It's over. It's all over. See, there is no green at all. I said that luck can't always be on one person's side. Stone gambling ultimately depends on strength. This young man is too unreliable. He even used a dog to choose the stone. It's inevitable that he will lose." Qin Haodong was also slightly surprised. He was not good at jade. He chose the raw stone by relying on the spiritual qi. But it was clear that this stone was exuding strong spiritual qi. Why hadn't he seen the jade yet? Could it be that there was a mistake in this method? At this moment, Chen Duo suddenly shouted, "Stop!" The two stone cutters didn't understand, but they still stopped according to his order. Chen Duo walked to the raw stone with a dignified face. He squatted down and looked at it carefully. The onlookers were very confused. They didn't know what the president of the Jade Association was going to do. Soon Chen Duo looked excited. His hands trembled as he stroked the raw stone. He murmured, "Black ice, it's really black ice." "What do you mean? What did President Chen say? What is black ice?" "I've heard that black ice seems to be a kind of black jade, but I've been in the jade industry for so long. I've only heard of it, but I've never seen it. Don't tell me he's so lucky to have picked such a rare jade?" Chapter 69. Then Chen Duo didn't let the two stone-cutting masters do it, but cut the stone himself. He was very careful, as if he was afraid of hurting the jade. Half an hour later, a black jade the size of a basketball appeared in front of everyone. Chen Duo took a basin of water and handed it over. Suddenly the black jade became clear. Under the light, the veins on the black jade were clearly visible. Some were like majestic mountains and some were like rolling rivers. It was like a natural ink painting, bringing people a different artistic conception. Chen Duo threw the basin on the ground and exclaimed, "Oh my God, this is the best black ice ink painting type." The onlookers were also amazed. Black ice jade was extremely rare. Many people had only heard of it but had never seen it. Today they suddenly saw such a big piece, and it was a very rare black ice ink painting type, which made everyone amazed. Sun Dingwa was excited at first, then he thought of his bet and looked gloomy. In front of the best black ice ink painting type, his jade was nothing at all. Just when everyone was amazed, someone suddenly said, "Tianda, what is this black thing? I don't think they're worth much. Hurry up and bring me those two dogs." It was Zhou Tsue who spoke. Even Feng Tianda was ashamed of such ignorant words. He couldn't wait to stay away from this stupid woman. Chen Duo took a deep breath and calmed down. He stood up and glanced at Zhou Tsue, thinking that this woman was not only ugly, but also so stupid. As the sister of the leader of the Jade Gang, she didn't even know Black Ice Jade. In fact, it was not surprising. Zhou Tianhu, the leader of the Jade Gang, had lost his parents when he was young. He only had such a sister. After he got power, he didn't let Zhou Tsue participate in the affairs of the gang. Instead, she spent all day drinking and having fun, so this woman didn't know much about Jade. Someone in the crowd asked, "President Chen, tell us, what is the Black Ice Jade and what is the Black Ice ink painting type?" "Well, I'll tell you." Chen Duo cleared his throat and said, "Black ice is a kind of ice jade. Some people call it black jade. The ancients used to call black jade the black chicken type. Black was originally the dirty color of jadeite, so its value had been relatively low for many years. However, in recent years, this situation had fundamentally changed. The price of black ice jade had risen sharply, and it had not reached its peak yet. The first reason was that the black ice jade was extremely rare and the quantity was very small. In the jade market, the rarer it was, the more expensive it was. Secondly, people have discovered that black jade, due to its unevenness combined with the water type, can produce a unique Chinese ink painting feeling. The man in the crowd asked again, "President Chen, how do you judge the grade and value of the black ice jade?" Black ice jadeite is divided into 5 grades according to its purity, uniformity, and thickness. According to the performance of this black ice jadeite, the black color is pure, rich, and evenly distributed. It belongs to the best first-class upper grade. In addition, the value of the black ice jade depends on whether it has a pattern. The one with a pattern is called the black ice ink painting type. The pattern is obvious and people can see the effect of the ink painting at a glance. Speaking of this, Chen Duo pointed to the black ice jade in front of him and said, "Look, this black ice jade has a pure color and is evenly distributed. The most important thing is that the pattern is very clear. It's just like a magnificent ink painting. That's why I said it's the best black ice ink painting type." There was an uproar in the crowd. They all sighed that Qin Haodong was really lucky. The little white dog had chosen such a piece of the best jade for him. Someone couldn't help crying, "President Chen, how much is this black ice ink painting type worth?" Chen Duo said with emotion, "Now the value of the black ice jade is rising day by day. It's really not easy to estimate. At the auction in Hong Kong last year, Someone bought a piece of black ice jade for 20 million yuan. Its quality was definitely not as good as this one. If Brother Qin is willing to give up this jade, I'm willing to offer 30 million yuan. 30 million? Oh my god, 30 million. I'll bring my dog here tomorrow and see if I can get a piece of jade worth 3 million yuan for me. It's so annoying. A dog chose such a good raw stone. I've been in this field for so many years, but I'm not even as good as a dog. Don't you see that young Master Feng is not as good as a dog, and even the expert he found is not as good as a dog? Hearing the discussion around them, Feng Tianda and Sun Dinghua's faces were extremely ugly. It was okay to lose the bet, but they lost to a dog. How could they show their faces? Qian Duo looked at Qin Haodong and said, "Brother, I'm willing to pay 30 million yuan for your black ice ink painting type. To tell you the truth, this price is not too high. It's reasonable, but I can only offer so much." Although he was the president of the Jade Association and had made a lot of money over the years, most of it had been turned into gems and treasured at home. So he only had more than 40 million yuan in cash. He had just spent 10 million yuan, and now there was only 30 million left. Qin Haodong had a good impression of Qian Duo. Seeing his sincerity, he said, "Since President Qian likes it, take it." "Great, thank you, Brother Qin." Qian Duo said and happily wrote a check of 30 million yuan and sent it to Qin Haodong's hand. The current price of this black ice ink painting type was indeed about 30 million yuan, but there was absolutely a lot of room for appreciation. It was a sure profit to buy it. After paying the money, he suddenly remembered that he still had the duty of a referee. He quickly announced, "The result of this round of gambling has come out. Brother Qin wins." In fact, even if he didn't announce it, everyone had already seen that although Sun Dinghua's jade was good and could be worth millions, it was still incomparable with the black ice ink painting type, which was worth 30 million yuan. After Qian Duo announced it, he unceremoniously handed Feng Tianda's check of 30 million yuan to Qin Haodong's hand. At this time, many people were jealous. The two dogs chose 2 stones and sold them for 40 million yuan in a blink of an eye. They won another 60 million yuan in gambling. This young man made money so fast that people couldn't help being jealous. Zhou Cui didn't care about the 60 million yuan that Feng Tianda lost. After all, it was not her money, but she cared about the 2 dogs. "Trash, you two are trash. You have lost my face. You can't even get a dog." Zhou Cui had never been provoked in the Jade Gang. Now she was not polite to scold Feng Tianda and Sun Dinghua. Feng Tianda and Sun Dinghua's faces were extremely ugly. They were used to being complimented in daily life. At this time, they were scolded by an ugly woman. They were angry but did not dare to lose their temper. Just then, someone outside the crowd said, "Miss, who made you angry again?" As soon as the voice fell, the crowd separated, and a dozen people came in from outside. The leader was an old man in his 60s. Although his hair was gray, he looked full of spirit. Behind the old man stood a big man wearing an eye mask. Although he had only one eye left, his eyes were fierce. He looked like a tough guy. "Uncle Gu, you are here." Zhou Cui plunged into the old man's arms, as if she had been greatly wronged. The old man was Gu Tianfeng, one of the 4 jade appraisers of the Jade Gang, and the one-eyed man was Meng Gang, a powerful general under Zhou Tianhu. Gu Tianfeng watched the Zhou siblings grow up. In addition, he had no children, so he was very fond of Zhou Cui. He turned to look at Feng Tianda and asked, "Young Master Feng, why did Cui suffer such a big grievance?" Gu Tianfeng was a pivotal figure in the entire jade appraisal industry in Burma, and he was even more respected in the Jade Gang. Feng Tianda did not dare to neglect him and quickly said, "Mr. Gu, it's like this." He briefly told him that Zhou Cui had taken a fancy to the 2 dogs and that he had lost the bet with Qin Haodong. Finally, he said, "Mr. Gu, I'm incompetent. I lost 2 games in a row, which made Cui angry." Gu Tianfeng glanced at Qin Haodong and said to Feng Tianda, "It's not that I look down on you, but the Feng family can't even beat such a young man. It's really useless." Sun Dinghua's face was extremely ugly when he was reprimanded, but he did not dare to say anything. Although he had some attainments in jade appraisal, he was not at the same level as Gu Tianfeng. He was called an expert, but Gu Tianfeng was a master. Zhou Cui cried, "It's too useless. Uncle Gu, you must help me." "Don't worry. For you, I'll make an exception for you." Gu Tianfeng's status in Burma was extremely high. There was a ranking of raw jade stone appraisal masters, and Gu Tianfeng was in the top 10. Ordinary people asked him to bid at least 1 million yuan, and it depended on his mood. Most of the time, even if he paid, he would not pay. After that he turned to Qin Haodong and said, "Young man, you're good. Do you dare to bet with me again?" Okay, I want to see it again." The little fellow agreed directly. Her father had just won the 2 games, which made her very happy. Of course, Qin Haodong didn't care. The master was nothing in his eyes. "Well, since you're interested, I'll bet with you again." "Please bet." Zhou Tsuitsue cried to Feng Tianda, "Hurry up and give me the money." "Do you want Uncle Gu to pay?" "Yes." Feng Tianda agreed. He gritted his teeth and tore off another check. After filling it out, he sent it to Chen Duo. Like Lin Momo, his private money was about 100 million yuan, which was the last of his family. If he lost it, he would have no money. Chen Duo also had a very good impression of Qin Haodong. He whispered in his ear, "Mr. Qin, you must be serious this time. This old man is a famous raw jade stone appraisal master in Burma. I heard that as long as he selects the raw jade stone, the gambling price will increase at least 10 times. Qin Haodong nodded and said, "I see. Thank you for your reminder, President Chen." Others also thought that in the face of a super master like Gu Tianfeng, the young man in front of them should not use dogs to choose raw jade stones. Unexpectedly, Qin Haodong murmured, "Since he is a master, of course, we should pay attention to it. Then send 2 dogs." Then he waved to Damao and Ermao and said, "You 2 go together. If you can't choose well, you won't have dinner today." Chapter 70. Qin Haodong sent Damao and Ermao out before Gu Tianfeng made a move. It seemed absurd, but in fact it was quite meaningful. He knew very well that Gu Tianfeng was worthy of his reputation. Since Gu Tianfeng was known as a raw jade stone appraisal master, he must have unique means. He had swept most of the raw stones in Area D. Among the remaining raw stones, there was one with the richest spiritual qi. In order not to attract attention, he didn't choose this raw stone. He wanted to buy it when no one was paying attention after the gambling was over. But now Gu Tianfeng was here. If he didn't take the lead and the old man chose the raw stone, he would be in trouble. At that time he would definitely lose. Because of this, he directed Damao and Ermao to rush to the stone. This was a very huge stone, as high as a person. Generally speaking, such a large raw jade stone, if there was no ringworm, crack, or python pattern, the probability of producing jade was extremely low. And this stone happened to have nothing on it. It looked no different from ordinary granite, which was why it was placed in Area D. After Damao and Ermao came to the stone together, it was impossible to jump up again. Finally, the 2 little things made a move that almost made everyone collapse. They raised their right legs and peed under the stone, symbolizing that they had occupied the stone. Qin Haodong said, "Well, since my 2 little things like this stone, I'll take it." Although this stone was almost the largest in the field, it was only priced at 2,000 yuan. Qin Haodong paid for it, and 8 workers came out at a time to push the huge raw jade stone straight over. Gu Tianfeng ignored all this. He stepped over and began to choose the raw stone he liked. As he chose, he slowly frowned. It could be seen from the original stone coats that they were all raw stones from the old pit in Burma, but he didn't know why there were so few stones that could enter his eyes. What he didn't know was that there were few raw stones left after Qin Haodong swept them away. After 2 gambling games, they had basically been collected. It was very difficult to find high-quality raw stones. Because of this, Gu Tianfeng wandered in the raw stone field for almost half an hour before he barely chose a stone he liked and asked the workers to push it out. Since both of them had chosen, Chen Duo asked as usual, "Who will go first?" Gu Tianfeng said, "It's not good for me to bully the younger generation. Let him go first." Qin Haodong said, "Well, I'll go first." As he spoke, he let the 2 stone-cutting masters start to cut the huge stone. With the previous 2 experiences, although the 2 stone-cutting masters were not optimistic about this stone, they still seriously cut it. The stone was so big that they didn't see anything even after cleaning several small windows. Finally, after asking for Qin Haodong's opinion, they directly cut the big stone in the middle. Everyone looked at the center of the stone, wanting to see if this young man could still create a miracle. However, the result disappointed everyone. After the big stone was cut open, there was no sign of green at all. "It's over. I told you that luck can't always stand on one person's side. That's normal. I've long seen that this stone isn't good enough. It's just that the quality is too poor." Feng Tianda was relieved. He pointed at Qin Haodong arrogantly and shouted, "Boy, now you're convinced, aren't you?" Then he shouted to his men, Go and get me those 2 dogs. Wait a minute. Qin Haodong said, what's the hurry? Even if I fail, your stone may not have jade. Besides, I haven't finished yet. Feng Tianda said, are you kidding me? How can there be no jade in the raw stone chosen by Master Gu? He has never failed since his debut, so you are bound to lose this bet. The onlookers also nodded. The reason why Gu Tianfeng was called a master was that he never failed. The only suspense was how much the jade in the stone was worth. Everything is possible. Let's talk about it after I finish. After Qin Haodong said that, he let the 2 stone-cutting masters continue to cut the stone. Under everyone's gaze, the 2 big stones that had been cut open were cut again and again, decomposed again and again. But the result was still the same. The cut section was white and there was no sign of green at all. Don't cut it. You can't get jade even if you cut it into pieces. Feng Tianda said triumphantly. He lost 2 games in a row, and this time he finally won a game. The 2 stone-cutting masters were busy for a long time and sweated all over. They also said, yes, little brother, according to our experience for so many years, it is impossible to get jade in this stone. Everyone present thought that Qin Haodong had lost, including Chen Duo, and began to feel sorry for Damao and Ermao. It was a pity that the 2 purebred snow mastiffs would be given away like this. Qin Haodong was not discouraged. He could clearly feel that the rich spiritual qi was in a piece of gravel, but in order not to attract attention, he did not directly cut the gravel. Now it was almost time. He said to the stone-cutting masters, you 2 take a break and let me try again. After that, he did it himself. After cutting 2 pieces of gravel in a row, he took the gravel full of spiritual qi for the 3rd time. Holding the stone in his hand, the perception of spiritual qi became clearer. In the harsh roar, the stone was cut again, just close to the group of spiritual qi. This young man is really stubborn. If this kind of stone can be cut into jade, I will eat it directly. It's no wonder that the 2 dogs are worth 30 million yuan. Anyone who loses will be distressed. As the man was speaking, he suddenly looked at the stone in Qin Haodong's hand and cried out, it's green. Oh my god, I'm not mistaken. It's really green. Qian Duoduo's eyes suddenly widened. He came to Qin Haodong in a few steps, picked up the stone in his hand and looked at it carefully. He exclaimed, King Green, it's the Ice King Green. Little brother, let me take care of the rest. Don't hurt him. This is the best ice-type Imperial Green. After that, without waiting for Qin Haodong's consent, he picked up the stone-cutting machine and began to grind slowly. His movements were as careful and as gentle as possible, as if he was holding a peerless treasure in his hand. Hearing his shout, Gu Tianfeng also came over and squatted down to observe the raw jade stone with a complicated look. About half an hour later, Chen Duo finally finished polishing the raw stone. He picked up the basin next to him and carefully washed it. Soon a piece of the best jade with green light appeared in front of everyone. This piece of jade was not too big, only a circle larger than a tennis ball. The shape was also round, but the green was refreshing and pure like a pool of autumn water, without any impurities. King Green, it's really the Ice King Green. Chen Duo held the jade and shouted excitedly, oh my god, who is this young man? How can he have such good luck? Ice King Green, I've never seen it in my life. It's an eye-opener today. You just said that if you cut out the jade you would eat it. Now that he cut out the Ice King Green, why don't you eat it? Are you kidding me? I just want to eat it. Can he give it to me? Do you know the price of the Ice King Green? Who would be willing to give it to me? Little brother, this is yours. Take it. Chen Duo reluctantly gave the Ice King Green in his hand to Qin Haodong. Although he liked it, he also knew that it did not belong to him. President Chen, how much is this ball worth? Please give me an estimate. Qin Haodong took the jade and asked carelessly. Ball. Chen Duo almost choked to death on his saliva. It was outrageous that someone called the Ice King Green. However, this was someone else's thing and he didn't care so much. He cleared his throat and said, the Ice King Green is generally sold by the gram. The current market price is about 100,000 yuan per gram. Your one is about 500 grams. Before he finished speaking, there was a burst of exclamations in the crowd. This young man's luck was too good. 2 dogs poured urine on it and it was worth more than 50 million yuan. When the crowd quieted down a little, Chen Duo continued, but I'm talking about the price of fragmented King Green. Generally, it can only be made into a pendant or something. Such a large and complete one is worth far more than 50 million yuan. If there is a suitable buyer, it is not surprising to offer 100 million yuan. Oh my god, it's worth 100 million yuan. I'm going to die. Why didn't I choose it? This stone has been here all day. Why didn't I choose it? Why didn't I choose it? Looking at the king green in Qin Haodong's hand, many people were mad with jealousy. Papa, this glass ball is so beautiful. I want a glass ball. The little fellow didn't know what the ice king green was. In her eyes, it was just a beautiful glass ball. Then she stretched out her two chubby little hands to Qin Haodong. Here you are. Take it and play with it. Qin Haodong said, and very casually sent the king green to the little fellow's hand. Now everyone's eyes widened. What's going on? The king green was used as a glass ball for children to play with. It was worth 100 million yuan. What if it fell to the ground? Tang Tang took the king green in her hand and played with it. Qin Haodong didn't care, but everyone else's heart was in their throat for fear of falling to the ground. At this time, Chen Duo looked at Gu Tianfeng. The stone gambling competition was not over yet. Now it should continue. Mr. Gu, it's your turn. At this time, people found that Gu Tianfeng, who was in high spirits just now, seemed to have lost his soul, and his eyes were dim and lifeless. After hearing Chen Duoduo's question, he murmured, "No, I admit defeat." No wonder he was so discouraged. He had played with jade all his life, but he had never cut out the best king green. At this time, seeing the glass king green in Qin Haodong's hand, he knew that he could not win anyway. If he lost to other masters he could accept it, but he lost to such a young man in his 20s who was chosen by a dog. If it was spread out, Gu Tianfeng would have no face to live in the jade world. At this point, Gu Tianfeng was completely disheartened. He announced in public that he would never appraise raw jade gemstones again in this life, and then left the raw gemstone venue with a lonely look. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.